years. It works like a charm, and it works quickly, and it's whisper quiet. It's been a real game changer for us at Sports Radio 810. Check them out at keepkccool.com. That's keepkccool.com today.
This is for the men who never settle, the ones who miss the fairway all day and still pull out the big stick, the type of guys who will always prefer to be behind the grill than in front of the camera, and the men who never let their friends forget about a high school nickname. This is the Lodge mentality. This is Twin Peaks.
Nothing makes cheering on your favorite team better than wings. Pair your at-home game day with Twin Peaks Wings. Find your favorite store at twinpeaksrestaurant.com/locations.
Chiefs fans, this is the Sports Radio 810 WHB Postgame Show, presented by CBD American Shaman. Life is better with the feather.
There are children in Kansas City who are well into their toddler years who do not, and for at least one more year will not, know what it's like to watch an AFC championship game that doesn't feature the Kansas City Chiefs. You could have given me between 1,000 and 1 billion guesses as to how exactly this game was going to go today, and I certainly don't think I could have gone line for line, bullet point by bullet point. Maybe eventually we could have gotten to 27-20. Maybe you could have convinced me that Chad Henne would play a drive or two, but I would have assumed and hoped that would have been at the end in the fourth quarter. Not as early in the first half as it was. But ultimately, 27-20, the Kansas City Chiefs beat the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jags get that final 3 points. Sorry to all of the believers against the spread. That's a rough way to lose one. But the Chiefs win this game by a touchdown and advance to their 5th consecutive AFC championship game. We don't know if it'll be in Kansas City or in Atlanta just yet. If the Bengals win tomorrow, it's at Arrowhead. If the Bills win tomorrow, it's in Atlanta. For the time being, I would like to focus on one statistic that I may or may not have mentioned a couple of times already in this show. The Chiefs are going to their 5th consecutive conference championship game. Now, look, I am just as worried about Patrick Mahomes' ankle as you are for what the remainder of the playoffs could look like. Next week in the AFC Championship game, potentially 2 more weeks after that in the Super Bowl if the Chiefs are able to get through whoever they get through next round. I have my frustrations with moments in this game today, as I'm sure everyone does. I have a whole category of players who I thought gave you the playoff effort you could ever possibly ask for. But we cannot do anything without building out the foundation of how absolutely mind-melting it is that, as my friend over at KC Sports Network, Kent Swanson, tweeted out early in the game, before the injury, when Patrick Mahomes was just cooking crazy nonsense, that Michael Jordan plays for the Chiefs. It's a great line by Kent, one I thought about a lot. A line I thought about when I called this the shoe game instead of Jordan's flu game. It's not a great one, but it's the best I could come up with on short notice. Patrick Mahomes, as a starter, has never seen his season end before an AFC Championship game.
In overtime.
Pardon?
He hasn't seen it end in regulation, I mean.
I see. But he has not fallen short of the conference championship. As a starter, this is the minimum of where he ends up. And that is superstar, borderline unprecedented nonsense. And it helps, for me at least, to remember where we were watching this football team 5, 6, and 7 years ago. I still think I have just about as many memories from Chiefs-Titans in the AFC Championship game as I do from them beating the Niners in the Super Bowl a couple weeks later. Because each one of those successes in Kansas City felt at least a little bit like a curse breaking. Shrugging off the ghosts of the past. Marcus Mariota and Andrew Luck and all of the shortcomings on the no punt game and Lynn Elliott. You can pick all of your ghosts of Chiefs playoff past. There were plenty to pick from. They get to the AFC Championship game the first time through, maybe find even more ghosts from that. By the way, real quick here, just a couple of things from Patrick Mahomes. He's talking to the NBC crew. Might try to hear that later. We'll bring you all the pressers we get from Arrowhead over the course of the night as well. But here, a quote from Patrick Mahomes on NBC. "It's going to take a lot to keep me out of a football game. I'll be good to go." I certainly believe he'll play. I am still worried about the fact he was playing with his toe screwed up in the Super Bowl against the Buccaneers. We'll see what that all turns into. But I'll be ready to go. And Mahomes confirmed himself. The x-rays on his right ankle were negative. X-rays negative. He's good to go. We'll see. It feels like a high ankle sprain. Obviously, he played through it in this game. We'll keep an eye on it. Bring you the updates we get just like that one over the course of the night. But they got to an AFC Championship game. You have your D Ford, your Tom Brady, your Julian Edelman, all of those cursed moments. And then you have Sammy Watkins, really, to me, ends up being like the face of the AFC Championship game against the Titans. Because he just like him sprinting down the sideline. Lots of great moments you could pick from. For some reason, that's one that stuck to me. And it felt like, oh man, this is legitimate. The Chiefs are actually allowed to go to a Super Bowl? Are we sure? Most of us at that point had no evidence in our lifetimes of that being something they were allowed to do. Then they win it, and we have a pretty cool parade that year. I go back that far into those games in particular because what the Chiefs just did was their own most normal thing possible. The most normal thing the Chiefs can do with Patrick Mahomes as their quarterback is, at minimum, get to the AFC Championship game. That's unhinged. That's normal. And there are a lot of individual guys I want to talk about from this performance today. I want to talk specifically about what Patrick Mahomes did on that ankle, all the decisions that went into it. But we can't have that conversation until we all lean back in our chairs for a second, take one deep breath. Let's all do it together. Inhale. Exhale. For half a decade, the Chiefs have demanded their birthright as members, participants, and hosts of the AFC Championship game. Even if it's in Atlanta this year, the Chiefs will be the higher seed. I'm going to count that one, but you know what it is. It is an outrageous thing to be normal. An outrageous thing to be the standard for the Kansas City Chiefs. And it is. It just is. Standard, normal, expected Mahomes. Let's talk about him for a second. We'll start taking your calls. We'll bring you the pressers from Arrowhead. Talk to Matt Derrick later. All sorts of good stuff right here on the Sports Radio 810 WHB Postgame Show, presented by CBD American Shaman. Free CBD samples every day. I'm Joshua Brisco, by the way. Beards McFly on the other side of the glass. Dylan Michaels producing the effort as well. I was yelling at the TV when Patrick Mahomes didn't immediately leave the game after we all saw the limp, the roll up, what happened there. And then he does end up in that conversation on the sideline, shuffled off to the locker room, checked the ankle, x-rays are negative. He's back out on the field before the half on the sideline with his helmet on, but Chad Henne stays in the game. I wondered at that point, is this just... Certainly, I didn't want them to yank Henne out of there in a drive that was working. When Chad Henne came in and cooked up a 98-yard drive, and by Chad Henne, I also mean Andy Reid and Eric Bieniemy and Matt Nagy and Travis Kelce, whose name deserves to be mentioned probably more than it will be, because you want to talk about normalizing goatness, if not just greatness. I'm going to come back to Kelce momentarily. But you have Chad Henne orchestrate what he orchestrated. And again, as I was wondering at the time, is there any chance that this is just, hey, Mahomes is back out. He looks like he's at least available with his helmet on. Don't show your hand. Make the Jags prepare for both quarterbacks at halftime. Cool, great. Just keep that in their heads. They come back out. Mahomes plays. And man, none of you listening right now need me to tell you Patrick Mahomes was not right. He was not right in that game. Handoffs were labored. The steps to the spots to get the ball to the running back was a difficulty. He had a walk across first down that he couldn't take. He did still scramble and did still make plays, but every time it happened, I was watching it through gritted teeth and my fingers over my eyes. And it will be a game that, based off of the result, some really, really quality help from the defense. I will not let that go undiscussed today either. And overall, the offense doing enough with Patrick Mahomes being the catalyst for all of it. This game went from something we would all remember as a disaster, and the first time Mahomes had been kept out of the championship game was just by an injury and an absolute catastrophe, to turning into a game that we will be telling our kids and grandkids and their friends all about. It's going to be, come around the fire and listen to Uncle Joshy tell you about what Patrick Mahomes did on one leg against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, by that point, if I'm retelling the story, Patrick Mahomes will have passed for 600 yards in the second half, and Travis Kelce will have had 14 touchdowns, and I'll just hope that ESPN.com's box scores don't work that far into the future. That's how I plan on telling that story many years down the line. But this is a weird person to quote. Not always my favorite dude in the game. But Mike Florio tweeted from the at Pro Football Talk account, "If you don't love Patrick Mahomes after tonight, you never will." And I'm not saying that to Kansas City. That we don't need any extra help. But the rest of the football world, and certainly us here, we are not going to have been surprised by that. We've seen Patrick Mahomes play through stuff. But this game is going to be a part of the legacy for Mahomes. This was a legacy game in spite of his own limitations in it, because he just wouldn't stop. He wouldn't leave the game. He wouldn't stop scrambling. He wouldn't stop trying to make jump passes with a broken flipper, just dragging around a club like Daniel Day-Lewis. It was unbelievable. We could all have signed his cast. Everyone at Arrowhead could have found a little bit of space based on how much tape was around his ankle. I'm already working on telling my story in 40 years from now. But this is a game that you're going to remember, and I hope you're going to forget some of the painful specifics and remember how I hope you feel right now, which is that the greatest football player alive plays for your favorite football team. His ankle got bent sideways And as soon as he had enough information of it's not broken, I guess you can try to go. I imagine before Rick Burkholder, God bless Rick Burkholder, shout out to him for this game and the rest of this week, head trainer, VP of sports medicine for the Chiefs. I imagine Rick Burkholder didn't get the words, it's not broken, out of his mouth before Patrick Mahomes was trying to wrestle his helmet away from someone.
It's not.
Right, yeah. Well, I guess that it's not good. I think it's not bruh. I think is when Patrick Mahomes was grabbing his own helmet by the face mask from someone else. That's my expectation. The greatest player in the world put on a clinic of why he's the greatest for totally unexpected and unwanted reasons. Just adversity. Just sucking the oxygen out of Arrowhead. Just the worst case scenario. And then about 2 hours later, they punched their ticket to their 5th consecutive AFC Championship game. I know I've said this a lot of shows, and we'll start taking your calls after this. I know I've said this a lot of shows. I've said this a lot of times. I'm a broken record, and I don't regret it. And I'm also not just saying it to you. I'm also saying it to me. Because I get to sit here and talk about what we all saw tonight. And more than anything else, I think my responsibility is this, both for you and for myself. Don't you ever stop remembering how unreal this is. If you are a 5-year-old listening right now going, I just don't see what the big deal is. They do this every year. Even you, kid. Get somebody older than you to tell you how wild this is. And if you remember those days as strongly as I imagine everyone currently listening probably does, remember what that felt like. To feel like you were rooting for the Washington Generals, the team that was out there to get dunked on, to be the foil for a more interesting story from some other team. We don't live in that world anymore. And it rules. Again, Joshua Brisco with you. Beards McFly on the other side of the glass. Dylan Michaels producing the Sports Radio 810 WHB Postgame Show. And when Kansas City scores, you score big. You're your local CBD American Shaman. Our team score is your percent off. They scored 27 points, so you get 27% off all day tomorrow on orders of $100 or more at CBD American Shaman. Life is better with the feather. Let's go to the phones and open it up at the top with George. George, you're on Sports Radio 810 WHB. How you feeling, George?
Long time no speak, sir.
George, how you doing, man?
You know what? I'm very grateful to have lived through this game, and I mean lived through this game. Shortly, Chad Henning deserves a game ball.
Yes.
No question. Butker deserves an actual game ball for throwing his head in the way of the runner.
Yes, huge.
Huge. It's nice, again, that special teams, for once, did not play an issue on the Chiefs' side of the game. I would very much like to think back to last year's divisional playoffs, where all 4 games were nail-biters down to the wire. People may not remember that. And this year, at least we have a clear 2 minutes to go. We know where the game was going. And I'm very happy for that I can at least breathe a little bit until tomorrow night when the Doink brothers may come back to haunt us. Oh, that's why I didn't call you last week.
I appreciate the Cowboys taking some of the special teams bad juju of the moment.
Oh, my gosh, Josh. Sir, you have a wonderful wife-to-be who can put up with you for this next 2 weeks. She's going to have to deal with you going sky high and bottom low because you're going to be in the ethersphere, grateful that the Chiefs are back into the playoff game, and then all the anxiety about Mahomes.
Yes, absolutely.
So I treasure the fact that you and she will spend wonderful hours sweating it out. I don't know, sir. It's I think CBD is going to get a lot of relaxation time out of this week.
I'm telling you, man, they are the perfect sponsor for the show because I feel like everybody could use them. George, I appreciate you very much, my friend.
Talk to you next week.
Good luck. Good luck tomorrow. It is going to be a very anxious week of waiting for updates on Patrick Mahomes. And also from the podium here today, looks like we're going to get both quarterbacks in addition to Andy Reid. That's obviously, of course, Patrick Mahomes and Chad Henne, Travis Kelce, Nick Bolton. Expecting to hear from them over the course of the show here today. But until we get them live, we'll keep hitting the phones. And up next, we got Ryan. Whoop, hold on. There we go, Ryan. You're on 810. What's up, man? How you feeling?
Hey, my local CBD American Shaman is Alan, and I love talking to Alan up here in St. Joseph. He's a great guy.
Shout out CBD American Shaman. They've been a wonderful partner.
I have to. I'm a wonderful caller as well. You know what I'm saying? So, but no, in all honesty, total team win today.
Yep.
Total team win. Amazing. I'm telling you, the defense is better than what people give them.
I agree.
Newest jersey I bought was Nick Bolton. Why? Because I don't just pick like guys that aren't good like that. I mean, he's a stud. Almost had an interception at the beginning of the game. Always in it around the play. The whole defense does really well. Jalen Watson today. Just like all the rookies, like McDuffie. We're still growing on that backside, but still, it's fun in the playoffs because how else are we going to learn? I mean, like, this is where we go. And Mahomes just showed why. I mean, like, he's a warrior. Like you said, we had Michael Jordan in town. Yes, we do. And until people start respecting that, I mean, I love being the underdog always, but, like, people just forget about his greatness. Yep. And him coming back out, now Tramadol or whatever they call him.
Toradol,
whatever they shot him up.
Yeah.
Toradol. I don't – if that's what he wants – you know what? He loves Kansas City. He wanted to play. Henne did great. The whole team did great. Pacheco, I'm still saying run the ball.
Dude is electric, man.
Dude, just he wants to – and I don't mean anything like he wants to kill everybody in front of him.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that really, literally. But
no, he doesn't. He doesn't. He seems like a very lighthearted, just free-feeling person until he has a football, and then he's a video game character.
And McKinnon too. I mean,
yes.
I love our running game. And today, when we had to rely on it the most, I mean, are you kidding me? We had Henne in that playing an amazing 97, 98-yard drive. I mean, we did it as a team. Yep. And then, look at our offensive line as well. And then the defense today, I mean, Trevor Lawrence and them, they are a good team. Doug Peterson, underneath, every coach that comes underneath Andy Reid, great coach. I mean, usually a good coach. He has a Super Bowl.
Yep.
He has just as many as Andy Reid.
Yep.
So here's the thing. We've got Patrick Mahomes. We always talk about it. We have a defense now, believe it or not, whether the pundits want to say it or not. But I'm going I want Bengals. I want them now. I want to beat another cat, and I want to beat them down bad. And the NFL cats, I don't like cats, NFL cats. But I want to beat down the Bengals bad. And I'm telling you, I want Joe Burrow. And hopefully that's what we get. Everything else, it's just enjoy what we have now. Somebody said something earlier, like my 13-year-old thinks this is just what we get.
Yep.
No. But thank you guys so much. I want more people on here and just celebrating the win because it helps the community out. And this is just fun every day now. You know what I mean? We get one more week of this, and every week could be the last one. So we got Mahomes, Kelce, and everybody else. So thanks, man.
Ryan, you're the best. Appreciate you, man. You mentioned Kelce one more time. I wanted to just say this out loud. That Travis Kelce today on 35 targets for the Chiefs, 35 passes, counting as targets total from the 37 attempts from Mahomes and Henne combined. Travis Kelce had 17 targets, 14 receptions, 98 yards, 2 touchdowns. Unfathomable. Dude is unreal. And he's the second most outrageous generational talent on this team because the guy throwing him the football might end up being the greatest football player of all time. Don't overlook Travis Kelce either. Dude's an alien. Next up, we got Gary. Gary, you're on 810. How you feeling, man?
Pretty good, Josh. How you doing?
I'm good, man.
Well, after watching the game tonight, I think Patrick Mahomes has got to be one of the toughest SOBs to walk the face of the earth.
Yeah.
To come up, I thought he was going to take a swing at Burkholder there on the sideline. He didn't let him go back in there. And I'll tell you what, and if I'm Orlando Brown,
yeah,
I want him, when he comes in, to sit and wonder why he's not getting the money he's getting. I just put on that one play over and over again where Arden Key just kicked his tail on it.
Yeah. And
I would make him watch that, and I say, this is why you're not getting the money you're getting. And the defense, let's just say it, they bent, but they didn't break tonight. They weren't spectacular.
Right.
They didn't do anything special. But I'm hoping L'Jarius Sneed's okay, because to say that's a huge loss is an understatement.
He came back in. He walked off and ended up back in briefly at the end of the game, which is huge news. Huge. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Good. And like I said, let's just hope that Mahomes. Let's hope for the best with Mahomes, and let's move on to next weekend. To the guy before that won Cincinnati, I kind of would love another shot at them, but I'm going to leave you with one stat though before I go, Josh.
Okay.
And this is something we probably thought neither one of us thought we'd ever say. Derek Nottie has more playoff sacks than Chris Jones. I'll hang up and listen. Great show.
You mother bleeper, Gary. You won't hang up. I hung up on you first. I hung up on Gary before he could hang up, out of principle. Yeah, Derek Nottie had to play. Look, man, Chris Jones was affecting the pocket like all night, but look, I'll admit it, man. I want him to have a sack so bad in the playoffs so I can stop having to have that very specific conversation. But with that notwithstanding, great call, Gary. Appreciate you. Next up, we go to Nick. Nick, you're on Sports Radio 810.
I'm on. Yeah.
Hey, what's up, Nick?
Hey, I got two positives and one negative. I just want to say that Frank Clark is a dog in the playoffs. He does everything. He always gets a sack.
Yeah.
And number two, Kelsey. Kelsey is him.
Yes.
He's climbing those boards on yards and touchdowns. He's about to be number 2 all time, maybe behind Jerry Rice. We'll go with that. But number 3, the negative. 3rd and short, I'm very sketched out about that.
Yeah.
I don't know. We didn't convert twice on 3rd and 1, and it could have cost us the game. If we play the Bills or Bengals, shoot, we got to convert 3rd and 1, and we have to convert those.
Yep.
I don't know, but if we don't convert those next week, we could be toast. We got to. Just trying to keep me sneak, Andy.
Not today, though, Nick. I mean, not today. I appreciate the call. Thank you, man, for listening. Today wouldn't have been the day to do the sneak. And they tried the sneak with Noah Gray, and it didn't work. And then they tried just doing the thing everyone wanted it the first time and handing it off to Isaiah Pacheco, and then that gets stuffed. The line just lost on those, and it was relatively kind of up the middle stuff. But you see those little, the sprint out play that Chad Henne to Tyreek Hill against the Browns. That today was Chad Henne to I actually can't remember who it was, but whoever it was on the sprint out that might have been Tony. Regardless, though, it was. There are times when there's like a play the Chiefs have that just seems unguardable. I am always left frustrated by how difficult it always seems to be to convert 3rd and short. I definitely think that's fair. Travis Kelce being him is almost not a strong enough piece of praise. I'll give you that at the very least, though. And also, again, as we've talked about some, I think the spotlight on the defense, like Gary said, they bent and didn't break today. You'll take that. Not always super consistent, but man, I feel like I've been bullish on these young corners for a minute now, and I feel so good about where that group is at. L'Jarius Sneed is a dog. Jalen Watson's a 7th-round pick who has not played like one. And yeah, man, I know these dudes get a hand to the face called every once in a while. They're trying to jam at the line, and sometimes you shoot high. That doesn't really bother me in the grand scope of things. But man, you get guys making plays in moments like this one. The Spags blitz at the end, again, for the pick that locks it up that Watson picks off. Just tremendous. A tremendous effort from all across the field. And I imagine Butch will have something to say about it as well. Butch, you're on 810. What's up, man?
Gentlemen, how about those Kansas City Chiefs?
How about them, Butch?
Oh, my goodness gracious. This is an all-time win. This is an all-time win. It's hard to put into words, JB. We've seen so much great football, right? You think about all the great games that you've seen from the Chiefs, not just in this recent game, recent history. Chiefs history. To come out here in a game at home and lose the one piece of your team that you cannot lose for almost a quarter, and to have the type of response that they had speaks to the type of organizational trust and structure that NFL teams crave. They dream for this. They dream to have a backup quarterback that they keep on their roster that's good enough to do what Chad Henne did. They dream about being able to have coaches that understand what they are going to invest in. We are going to invest in our defensive line. We are going to put as much investment at the corner spot. We're going to do just enough to where we can have rookies come out and be able to compete against NFL veteran wide receivers and hold them to 2 touchdowns. And then you lose the guy. He goes down, looking great before he goes down, comes back after he gets hurt, 12 for 18, 118 yards and a touchdown. I almost can't believe it. I'll say this much before I get off the line. God, I wasn't nervous. I mean, I was nervous. Right? But I wasn't nervous. Because I'll be – we talked about it, and this is words to my man, God rest his soul. When we talk about not having a not over my dead body game, this was it. Terez Paylor was absolutely right. We saw it in the flesh. You think you're off the hook, NFL? You think that because this guy's playing on one leg that you're not going to see him in the Super Bowl? You didn't kill him. Now you have to pay for it. Savor the flavor, baby.
Butch, I appreciate you, man. You're so right. Terez is the one who talked the most about it. I think he gets credit rightfully for coining the term specifically in regards to Patrick Mahomes, an over my dead body game. And this was an over my bum ankle game. This was an on one leg game. It was a masterclass from Patrick Mahomes. The defense that did enough and then some, because it wasn't just enough for the offense humming. 2 drives into this game, this thing was looking like a blowout. But the defense stepped up when they needed to. Isaiah Pacheco gave you big moments, big plays, and consistency. Travis Kelce just needs to figure out what haircut he's going to have on his bust in Canton. That's pretty much the last thing that he needs to figure out. And you got what you needed from coaching staffs on both sides of the football. Not you, special team. You got what you needed from offense and defense. And hey, the kicking game was good. That was all successful. So I'll give him that credit for sure. But you just got what you needed at every level. Where it is both a story of the organization and the team being ready for a moment that felt like a disaster like this one and rising in that moment. And it's a story about Patrick Mahomes. Without a team effort, he's not there to make those plays. Without Patrick Mahomes, those efforts probably don't matter. Tremendous football game. And Travis Kelce was on NBC shortly after the game on the field with it was Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce together on the field. Here's what we got from them right after the game.
I can't say enough about Chad Henne stepping up and doing his thing. This ball goes to Chad Henne right here. Anything's possible, baby.
Patrick's over here saying, yes, sir. What do you want to say about Chad Henne?
Yeah, Chad Henne, man, he's been in the building every single day. He's made me so much of a better quarterback in the way he teaches me. And just the most ready to go at all times quarterback, man. And it's a special type of guy. And he stepped up and drove 98 yards, touchdown, and which ended up being a difference in the game.
It really did. If the offense sputters there, or certainly if they turn the ball over and it's going the other way, the Chiefs might be going home right now. Instead, a 5th consecutive AFC Championship game. We need to take a timeout. We'll come back and start hearing pressers from Arrowhead. I know we got a full phone board right now, trying to keep the pace up and get you everything all night here. Recapping, yes, another ticket punched to the title game in the AFC for the Kansas City Chiefs. We'll keep talking about it right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB Kansas City. This is the Sports Radio 810 WHB Postgame Show presented by CBD American Shaman. Free CBD samples every day.
You're listening to exclusive post-game coverage on Kansas City's home for the NFL. Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Brought to you by Casey's own CBD American Shaman. Come on into your local Shaman store for a free sample of stress-sacking CBD. Everything is better with the feather.
The Kansas City Symphony presents Marvel Studios' original Black Panther film on the big screen at the Kauffman Center, with your Kansas City Symphony playing the entire soundtrack live. January 25th through 28th. Find tickets for Black Panther in concert now at kcsymphony.org. Black Panther fans, come hear your favorite songs performed by the Kansas City Symphony at the Kauffman Center January 25th through the 28th. Get your tickets today at kcsymphony.org.
Receding hairlines, bald spots, thinning hair, many try medications, foams, special shampoos, or supplements. But the best method for restoring your hair is simple: transferring your own hair follicles to the places you need them. I'm Dr. Jeff Markey with Ascentus Plastic Surgery. We perform hair transplants with cutting-edge ARTIST robotics to get the single best result for each patient with the least amount of downtime. Contact Ascentus Hair Restoration or visit kansascityhairtransplant.com for a free consultation. Surgical precision with hair restoration performed by plastic surgeons only at Ascentus Hair Restoration.
Not everyone can climb a ladder or spend all day on an uneven surface climbing to new heights. That's why God created a roofer. Someone who gets up before the morning light, works all day in the hot sun or bitter wind, and still makes it home in time to catch the kids' ball game. That's why God created a roofer. The kind of person who is most at home with a hammer in their hand and love in their heart. They believe that a team can do just about anything. That's a Shamrock roofer.
I'm McCall from Lee Summit Subaru, and we're committed to helping our community through the Subaru Love Promise, like our commitment to Hillcrest Transitional Housing to help solve homelessness. Lee Summit Subaru also sponsors several pet adoption clinics like Midwest Animal Rescue and events each year such as Dogtoberfest. If you have any charity ideas that you'd like to share with us, then come see us at Lee Summit Subaru. It's all part of the Subaru Love Promise. Fall in love with driving again at Lee Summit Subaru. LeeSummitSubaru.com.
The Ballerson Auto Group is an automotive source for dozens of reasons. 3 great dealerships provide everything you need.
We have over 500 vehicles, virtually anything you would want: Ford, Honda, Subaru, Chevy, Jeep, and more.
We also service all makes and models. All maintenance and parts, all bodywork and detailing, we keep your vehicle looking like new.
We are the oldest, largest family-owned auto group in Kansas City. Almost 50 years of service to over 1 million customers.
Thank you, Kansas City.
Bickamer Electric. We've got the highest quality trained electricians, rated best in KC. We do free virtual panel inspections and no contact service for your safety. Bickamer Electric will get you up to code for your voltage load. Bickamer Electric, we're gonna wire it right and hook you up tonight. Bickamer Electric.
Family Leisure's inventory liquidation sale is happening now. Save hundreds, even thousands, on pools and spas at liquidation prices. At Family Leisure, all the summer stuff has to go. Backyard adventure play sets, gorilla basketball systems, trampolines, patio, deck furniture, and more. The season's best prices guaranteed. Mention 810 and save more at Family Leisure's inventory liquidation sale. Family Leisure is your one-stop shop for family fun. K10 and Ridgeview in Olathe.
913-888-7727. Awesome.
Hey, it's Grunny here for my friends at CBD American Shaman. Do you struggle with pain, sleep, anxiety, or lack of energy? Well, who doesn't? Visit your local CBD American Shaman and let them educate you on the benefits of the highest quality hemp oil available. And when the Kansas City football team scores big, you score big too. If Kansas City puts up 50, that's right, it's 50% off your order of $100 or more the day after the game. That's huge savings. CBD American Shaman. Life is better with the feather.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Susan, it's so great to finally be able to get together again.
Oh, it sure is. And I really appreciate you picking up the bill.
I'm happy to. I've got the extra cash. Since we've all been driving so much more again, I've been using Upside, the free app that pays you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get paid cash when you buy gas with the Upside app?
Yes, I get real cash back just for buying the gas I was going to buy anyway.
But is it a hassle to use? use?
No, it's super fast and easy, and I can cash out whenever I want.
That's a total no-brainer. I'm downloading the free Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code LIFT for an extra 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's promo code LIFT. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, to PayPal, or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code LIFT for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code LIFT.
Pointing out his protections, McKinnon in motion, shotgun snap, quick throw, goal line, caught, spinning, touchdown, Kelsey. 1-yard touchdown run. Kelsey, his second touchdown catch today, and the Chiefs extend their lead before halftime.
That was sweet, and it's Andy's sweet play of the game, brought to you by Andy's Frozen Custard. Stop by any KC location for Travis Kelce's 87 and running concrete to help raise money for this worthy cause. 87 and running in Andy's Frozen Custard, the perfect option play for KC fans everywhere. A lot of things weren't perfect today. A lot of things went pretty well, all things considered, and the Chiefs are victorious, heading back to their 5th straight AFC championship game, a completely mind-melting, and perhaps melding statistic. We all just have a hive mind now. Wait a second. What? Little John at halftime? What? Excited about the fact that we get to hear from Frank Clark. You may remember one of his postseason moments of note was a post-game interview with James Palmer of the NFL Network. Well, good news. James is back, and so is Frank Clark. Here's Frank Clark, including a cameo from Chris Jones, maybe a couple others as well, on NFL Network immediately after the game.
Frank, I know you're on the other side of the ball, but I got to ask you, when 15 goes down.
Again! That's what we do, baby.
You know we do, Sack Nation. Go ahead, what you're saying?
We in this thing! AFC Championship, they doubted us. We got the shark healthy. The shark is back, and we smell blood, baby. We smell blood. Who don't tell him? Don't tell him that. All right, we back.
All right, regroup, Frank, regroup. When 15 goes down, that's likely the MVP of the league. What's going on the sideline when you see him go to the locker room? What are you all thinking?
I mean, the obvious. I mean, our leader, Pat, he's down. Last time we had seen that was Denver Broncos about 2 years ago when the whole stadium in Denver went quiet. And, you don't want to see that for no quarterback, for no player, especially, how sensitive the league has been on these type of things, Pat going down, you don't want to see guys get hurt. You want to see guys compete at a high level but never get hurt. And so, it touches us all. We want the best for him. We want them healthy as possible out there so he can help us win. And, just knowing when we got back to the locker room, we could check on them. We knew everything was going to be all right. It wasn't as serious as, we initially thought. Man, that's the best feeling we can have in the world right there, just knowing our teammate is healthy.
And then Jacksonville makes it 17-20, and Pat comes down and throws a touchdown on one leg. What do you describe your quarterback in terms of toughness?
Man, it's called grit. You know what I mean? It's called grit. It's his determination to want to win no matter what the circumstances are. And he continues to show that. For years he showed that. And, I wouldn't want no other quarterback. I said it before. I'm going to continue to say it, and I die by it. And I wouldn't want no other quarterback leading my team and leading this locker room.
Sack Nation, two of you guys talking. This is what you guys want to do in the postseason up front. You get a sack, 2 tackles for loss. What is clicking up front when both of you guys are healthy and playing well?
Man, we're running the show. We spoke about it before. When you get to this time of the year, at the end of the day, who these guys fear, who these guys going to look at, and they're going to look at it and be like, man, these guys are coming, day in and day out. We put it down, though. We put the work in. So, at the end of the day, it's going to come to us, 10 times fold. Looking forward to the week ahead. Got a different challenge and, short-term memory, like I always say. Got to wash this one away and get ready for our opponent next week.
So then real quick, who do you want to win tomorrow? Because if Cincinnati wins, you're playing the AFC Championship game here in Kansas City.
I don't really give a damn. Bring them all.
Frank Clark is just better in the playoffs, not just on the field, but also, he rises to the moment. I'm not trying to take a shot. I'm saying, he exceeds every previous expectation in the playoffs. Postseason player. We're going to go out to Arrowhead from to hear the pressers from the podium here pretty shortly, so I would love to, everybody on the phones right now, you listening to me? If we can make these pretty bang, 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 we can clear out this whole phone board, get you all in and out of here before we end up going to the pressers. Then after we go to pressers, we're probably going to be there for a decent chunk of time. So if you call in, and we could end up being on a long hold watch, but if we can look out for each other, we can get through the phones before we go back out to Arrowhead. And we started off right now with Dan. Dan, you're on Sports Radio 810. How you feeling, Dan?
I feel great, Joshua. How about that game by Mahomes? Oh, well, one leg. How about that pulling it out like that? And how about Henney taking out 98 yards? And with that really changed the game. And I'll tell you something, that jump pass to Scantling in the end of one leg kind of remind me of Willis Reed. Remember Willis Reed in Game 7 of 1930 against the Lakers? And how about Butker saving the touchdown to Agnew? That's the only thing that she's got to work out is the special teams. So let's go Bengals. I want some revenge on the Bengals. Let's go. Take care of the Bills. Let's go. Take care, Joshua.
Dan, I appreciate you as always, my friend. When we say Jordan Flu game, Willis Reed, Kirk Gibson, we have those from sports history. I'm not kidding. Patrick Mahomes is building those moments now for what we're going to talk about 20 years in the future. How cool is that? We're watching history and also really damn good football. Next up, we got Paul. Paul, you're on 810. What's up, Paul?
Hey, real quick. The tactical change when Mahomes went down, the offensive line, I think those guys did a magnificent job. And the offensive line coach making those changes because they know they got a different personnel back there. But also, I want to give kudos behind the scenes, the training squad, the medical people.
Yes.
They got 1-5 back there. Well, let's not forget those people back there that knew the urgency to balance the medical sheet, but get that player back on the field. So total kudos to the top organization, and I'll make it quick. Great win tonight, guys.
Paul, great call by you as well. A great point that, yes, think about the rock and the hard place you're between there for that training staff. Hey, they want the quarterback back out as quickly as possible, and also you cannot send him back out there, risk re-injury, and all of a sudden now where are you in terms of what the future of the franchise looks like if your quarterback is in anything less than absolutely pristine health. Great point. Next up we go to Sean. Sean, you're on 810. What's up, Sean?
Hey, I wanted to make a point now. I'm pretty superstitious.
Okay.
So I've been holding on to this for a little bit. So we're clearly playing AFC title game. We're playing the Bengals or the Bills.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a mistake for them to bring Damar Hamlin out before that game, personally, because I think the emotional toll it's going to take on every single person on that field. I don't think either of those teams can win the next game that they play.
Interesting.
Personally,
yeah.
I just think it's too much. I know it's kind of a sore subject to talk about, but now that we're here and we're there, I feel okay to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think witnessing what happened to Damar Hamlin from every single person on that field, I think that game is going to take so much out of both of those teams, especially if they do what they have planned. What seems like they're planning on doing is bringing Damar Hamlin out and making some sort of a show out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I get it, but I think it's a mistake the Bengals can't do anything, but I think it's a mistake, and both those teams are going to be emotionally drained. They're not going to be able to get up to play the big bad Chiefs, and even if they are, it's going to be for a quarter before they're emotionally. I don't think that either of those teams are going to be able to bring it next week. And with that, I will listen off air and like to hear your thoughts on it now that somebody can talk about it.
Sean, excuse me, Sean. I called you Shane that's a real curse word around here, almost literally. Sorry.
Oh yeah, no,
sorry.
I am not.
Sorry about that, Sean. Never again, Sean. Thank you for the call. Yeah, it's going to be interesting just to see how that all plays out tomorrow because, I mean, there is no question at all. It's going to be an incredibly emotional game and an incredibly emotional moment. Even just those two teams facing off again, I have no idea how that is going to spark them or be a real, I don't know if it'll kind of take you back to that moment a little bit where no one wanted to be playing football because of the thing they had all just seen. Maybe it'll feel like a real standard-bearing kind of moment for resiliency and the incredible parts of Hamlin's story. Maybe it'll be kind of a jarring reminder of how that game ended on that Monday night between those two teams. I really don't know. It's an interesting thought, Sean, and I'll keep it in mind going into that game tomorrow because, again, regardless, emotions for Bills-Bengals will be sky high, and then I'm sure that will continue regardless of who it is that advances to take on the Chiefs. Next up, we got Rodney. Rodney, you're on 810. What's up, man?
Hey, I want to make this real quick. At the beginning of the season, during preseason, Steve Spagnuolo sit there and said he had to throw his rookie defense into the fire.
Mm-hmm.
I think they came back and he's enjoying that fire. He's sitting there roasting and watch these young guys make play. I know first thing he's going to say he made a mistake by letting George Karlaftis go off on a cover against a wide receiver. I know he's going to bite that.
Yep.
But good guys, his rookies that he have on that field is making a great play. I'm going to put in good kudos to every single rookie that go on that defense. That's all I want to say.
Rodney, great point. Appreciate that very much because I think you're 100% right. And that was the hope at the beginning of the year, right? Hey, it's all rookies, and the Ben Neiman, Dan Sorensen, even Tyrann Mathieu, a lot of the guys, the veterans in this group, aren't here anymore. Reboot it with these rookies, and now here we are paying off in the playoffs. It's an awesome story and a great timeline for that group. Next up, we got Carl. Carl, you're on 810. How you doing, man?
Reboot it with these rookies, and now here we are.
This is Carl.
Yeah, hey, Carl, what's up? What you thinking?
Hey, what's going on, man?
Hey, good. How are you?
Couple things. I'm going to go ahead and throw it out there and say that DeMar Hamlin, shout out. He's been an inspiration to all the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
And so anyone who says otherwise, inspirational or not, they're using it for some type of motivational tool. He has made himself a momentum for the NFL. Secondly, when are we going to go ahead and get ourselves a Chase Daniel? Because we can't keep riding on Patrick Mahomes every play, every down, every single second of the season. We saw it tonight when he got hurt. Chad Henne, he's great, he's serviceable. But when are we gonna be able to lean on a real backup quarterback like a Chase Daniel? Can you answer me that?
I don't know that I can, Carl. I appreciate your call, but I think Chad Henne pretty much aced the assignment tonight, and I think he's going to be at the podium, in fact, momentarily. So do we have time to squeeze Evan in here real quick, Beards, you think? Evan, I'm going to go ahead and try to squeeze you in real fast to sneak in before Chad Henne. Never mind. Sorry, Evan. You stay right there. Chad Henne live from Arrowhead.
Just like riding a bike?
I don't know if it's just like riding a bike, but you're always prepared. And I think with this offense, obviously all our weapons that we have, and staying prepared each and every moment, I think you just stay ready. And when your number's called, you just go in there and do what you did in practice in the meeting rooms, and you just take it to the game.
What do you think? You get started at the 2-yard line. They don't even cut you a break. What were your thoughts at that point?
Yeah, I mean, they did a great job. I mean, changing field position just like we did. And I think at that point, it's just take what they give you. Just a couple of the first play was a stick, hit Kelsey and kind of got us going. Then we had a nice run. And, you get in a little rhythm and you kind of keep the pressure on. And, the biggest thing was just rely on your preparation just like you do in practice.
That you weren't exactly nervous and that you're kind of thrust into a situation. How do you make that part of it work?
Well, I mean, definitely nerves are high. 2 years ago when I did it, the same thing. But once you get into the game and you kind of get going, it's just like repetition. And it's not like I've never done it before. I played in enough games, but when the opportunity is called upon, I feel like I'm ready.
Did you specifically draw on that deal against Cleveland? I mean, was that kind of in your mind?
A little bit, but obviously it's just one play at a time. I mean, concentrate the best you can, and just do what you do.
Did you ask for the third short play to Tony, the same one that you ran to Tyreek in the Browns game? Is that one of your specialties in the league?
Yeah, just a quick rollout, right, and hit the flat. No, it was one of the plays that was in our 3rd and 2 to 4 group, and it was ranked high for me. But that's what's great about this organization and Coach Reid and EB and Nagy. It's just when your plays are ranked, they believe in that. They believe what you believe in, and you feel very comfortable when the play does come in and to execute it.
Yeah, Patrick talked about that you don't get the reps during the practice and during the week because it's playoffs. How important are those mental reps for you?
Yeah, I mean, mental reps are big. I mean, Shane and I and Chris are always in the back. When Patrick is up there on offense, we're in the back doing the drops, doing our run reads as well. So we're always in the back doing mental reps. But at the same time, after practice, we get with a couple of receivers and we throw with them. Not that they're the starters, but we kind of get those reps that Patrick got in practice that we'll get in after practice.
How much did you feel you settled in after that initial throw to Travis to start the drive?
Yeah, I mean. It was a good completion to get going. I don't think you ever really just like settle in just on one play, but you feel the rhythm. You kind of get that first down, and you just go with the flow. And I think all the plays that were coming in, I felt confident in, and that's due to our coaching staff as well. Just believing in what I believe in as well, and we're all on the same page.
When you're getting ready to telling some jokes when you came into the game.
How did you cut the tension? How did you kind of, break the nervousness that everybody had when you come in?
Yeah, I don't think it was jokes. I think it's just being confident. I think looking the guys in the eye, exemplifying some of the words in the offense that we do, and just really just get their attention, and knowing that you believe in them as well as them believing in me. So I think just giving them confidence that I know what I'm doing, and it's just not a one-man show. I mean, there's a lot of great guys on our offense that really stepped up and helped my job a lot tonight.
Chad, there was just like a brief moment where Patrick was your back, when he came back from the locker room and he was back with that timeout of the best half. I was wondering what it was like in that conversation.
Yeah, I think he was just telling me what I tell him: take what they give you. And I think rely back on your fundamentals, and we tell each other that all the time. And he was great being there, encouraging, and just on the sideline, just like I would be. So I always appreciate him. He's just the ultimate competitor and teammate, and I couldn't thank him enough.
Jeff, what was your awareness of what was going on with him? That he went back to the extra and you just kind of focused on everything else that was happening for you?
Yeah, I mean, it was going back and forth, obviously, whether he's going to play or not. And obviously, Patrick wanted to play, and Coach Reid just wanted to just get it checked out just to make sure it wasn't, anything really severe. But the competitor that Patrick is, he keeps fighting. So I just knew at that point in time, I just need to be ready. I need to warm up. And if they're going with me, I'm ready. And if not, Patrick's in.
Last two. Hey, Chad, even as a veteran, I mean, thinking back to the divisional game and then this time, for Andy to have the confidence to call a pass play on the first snap when you come in, does that help you? Does that instill confidence in you?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's why he's such a great coach. I mean, any quarterback that comes in the system seems to have success, and he believes in the guys that are on his team. And, he had the confidence in me to throw the pass, obviously, but at the same time, we're not changing the offense. We're going to go out there and try to execute to the best of our ability and move the ball. So that's our jobs as players.
Last one.
Coach Reid said that the whole team just believed in you as soon as you went out there. Just talk about the grit and the heart of this team to be in that position when you were in.
Yeah, I mean, ever since I got here in 2018, this is one of the best organizations I've ever been a part of. I mean, it's a true team feeling. Everybody supports one another. There's never a guy out there that's just above anybody else. We put our egos at the side. Everybody's humble. Everybody gives the credit when it's due. And that's what makes it such great. And it comes from the top down. Clark, to everybody, to Coach Reid. It's just unbelievable organization that we run here. And I couldn't be happier that I'm here.
Great, thank you.
Thanks, guys.
There's Chad Henne, came in and had a 98-yard touchdown drive in a moment the Chiefs desperately needed something to go ahead and stabilize where they're at. I think Nick Bolton might actually be up next at the podium, so we'll hear from him, and then still expecting to hear Travis Kelce, and then, of course, Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes later in the show. Plus, it sounds like we can hear from MVS, Creed, and Justin Reed from the locker room, but here is Nick Bolton live from Arrowhead.
Nick, what was it like at the bottom of the scrum there inside the 5 trying to get that fumble recovery?
Oh, man, it's a whole bunch of Chiefs players, man, so it wasn't as bad as some of them been in the past. I had a couple guys around me, man, productions at the football. I think it was me, Willie, Juan, LJ. It was like 4 or 5 of us down there, so when we got those numbers and production at the ball, good things are bound to happen.
Who got LJ's nose down there? Is that friendly fire? How you came out of there with the bloody nose?
Yeah, man, LJ's been on me. I think I got him twice today. I think I got him 2 good licks, though. But, man, yeah, I mean, LJ, man, he's always run the football like myself, especially when he's playing nickel, man. And, again, he's a hell of a football player.
What did you see on that play? It looked like he fumbled it before he got hit. Were you concerned at all they would say he didn't catch it?
Not really, because I kind of saw him. He caught the ball, and he kind of lost it trying to make a move, and he kind of cut back against LJ. And so I kind of knew the ball was kind of fumbled, and I just had to get on it.
Does the mentality of the defense change at all when you see Pat's hurt and he's just limping around a little bit and the offense is struggling?
Yeah, man. Obviously, you got up your level of play, man, especially with a player of his caliber, man, the best quarterback in the NFL. So when he goes down, we got upper level of play, and try to give the offense many opportunities as possible down the stretch. And I feel like on defense we did a hell of a job winning key situations and unfortunate field goals when we needed to.
Dan, what are some of the takeaways from today and take with you guys next week in the AFC Championship?
Oh, man, I feel like our corners and our DBs, man, we competed, man. On the outside especially, we challenged those guys to the line of scrimmage and forced them to kind of hold the ball, and our front got there. Even if we didn't get sacks, we got pressure and got knocked them on the ground a little bit, so that was good for us.
Obviously, you guys have a game to play. Is it in the back of your mind at all, wondering what's going on with Pat?
Oh, man, I know Pat's a fighter. We all saw it today. I know he's going to give us everything he has, and if he can't go, he can't go. And again, it's another game for us. We got upper level of play. We got a whole week, got a couple of days off, and I know he'll be on top of the treatment, and he'll be ready to go.
Did you find out during halftime he was going to play, or do you see him go on the field? That's how you find out.
Yeah, we really didn't know. After Chad came in, we were on the assumption that Chad was going to play the rest of the game, and we really didn't know until he came back out there, man. But again, he's a fighter, man, and we see him do it every week. He comes out there and gives us his best and gives us his all, and that's all you can ask for.
Second straight game with you guys forced a couple turnovers after struggling to get some turnovers earlier in the year. Anything you can put your finger on there?
Oh, man, we kind of focused on it throughout the week, especially in the week we had off. Kind of focused on maybe punching the ball a little bit more or high pointing the ball or just catching the ones that he gives us. I dropped one early, but it's one of those things you just kind of got to keep going on. And in playoffs, you understand that they count times too when you get them.
Nick, you mentioned the level and the urgency rose a little bit when Pat goes down. What are some of the conversations like amongst the defense when that all is taking place?
Yeah, I mean, we always talk about winning first down. No, I don't think we won first down a lot in the first quarter. So we kind of just want to win first down, kind of get them in second and longs and third and longs, and let our D-line do the work and our corners press.
Nick, Trevor kind of questioned Chiefs Kingdom and the crowd noise. How do you feel like Chiefs Kingdom did this today?
Oh, man, we were loud, man. I thought we can get a little bit louder, though. Yeah, we're loud.
I know, you won a playoff game every year you've been in the NFL, but for Carlos Dunlap, 13 years, he finally got that playoff win. How, were you guys aware of that, and how special is that for him?
Actually, I wasn't aware of that. I know he has won a championship because he talked about it when we first got here. I won the opportunity to win a championship. And, again, man, that guy comes in every single day and works, man. It's year 13 for him, but treats it like it's his first. Always learning, always asking questions, and always trying to figure out how to make our defense better. He's been a pivotal part in our D-line room, especially on our defense.
You came pretty close, it looked like, to an interception yourself there. What did you kind of see on that play? What was kind of going through your mind?
Oh, man, I knew we had a pressure, and I knew the ball had to come out quick, and I think he made a pump fake, was it Willie, the first time, and then just kept going. I was on the ball across his shoulder, and I saw the dude come across my face, and I just tried to plaster in coverage, and I dropped it, though. So nothing really matters if you drop it.
Last one. Okay, thanks, Nick.
Yep, thank you.
There's Nick Bolton live from Arrowhead, and it sounds like Travis Kelce's hovering right behind him, so we expect to be hearing from Kelce momentarily right here on the Sports Radio 810 WHB Postgame Show. I'm Joshua Brisco with Beards McFly on the other side of the glass. Here is Travis Kelce from Arrowhead.
I mean, I don't want to look over, how great of a quarterback Pat is and what he means to this team, but if anybody goes down, it's next man in. If I go down, it's next man in. It's just the mentality that you got to have, especially in a playoff game like this. You can't miss a beat. And we know that if it's up to Pat, he's going to be in there. And I'm sure he has some words with everyone on the sideline wanting to get back in there as fast as possible. But we had a veteran guy, Chad Henne, stepping up to the plate yet again in the playoffs. Playoff Chad, baby. We keep finding ways to win with him at QB.
Andy Reid mentioned just everybody trusts Chad. Like that was what the thought process was at the end. What do you see behind the scenes in practice every day that leads to that trust in someone who's big about it?
You have a veteran mind, a veteran QB, a guy you can bounce things off of. I know I've learned a lot just from talking to Chad about the things that he likes to see, or it's just a different style of quarterback. So you always want to kind of be on the same page with everybody in that room. And Chad's been nothing but the best quarterback he can be throughout it all. And what I mean by that is every single day he's preparing as if he's the starting quarterback, as if he's one snap away. And sure enough, you saw that today. I mean, to be able to come into a hostile game, backed up on your 2-yard line and go 98 yards on your first drive, man, that just shows the type of competitor he is and how the guys rallied around him because of how much leadership he has.
Travis, I know that you are the other statesman on the team. You've played in the last 5, this will be your 5th AFC championship game. Knowing how the season ended last year, what is the existing motivation and what do you have to do to finish the journey?
You just have to be appreciative of being in the situation. We get to play football for another week. I'm not looking past that. I'm not looking, down the line. I'm trying to figure out how I can make my team better, or how I can make myself better for my team throughout this week. And it's going to be every single day attacking what I need to attack. And the first couple of things is recovery, and from there it's just finding out the game plan, who we're playing, and how we're going to attack them. And everybody's locked in right now. I think if you looked at that team out there, you saw everybody communicating very well, coach team on all three phases. And when we play like that, we give ourselves a really good chance at winning.
What will you be most pleased with about the 98-yard drive? What will jump out to you back at it either now or obviously moving forward?
I mean, I can already appreciate it for what it is. I don't have to go any further in life to really, have appreciation for that drive. There were a bunch of third downs that we needed to, dig deep and find a way to get the first down. And sure enough, Chad was out there leading us the entire way.
Travis, you already said how much you appreciate Chad and what he did. When he comes back in the game and you don't really know what's going on with Patrick, do you have in your mind that he's your guy for the rest of the thing? And what kind of, excitement or whatever did you get when Patrick was back in there?
You got to take the game play by play, series by series, and it's not necessarily getting excited. It's just having the attention to detail and the alertness, if that's even a word, or I'm trying to find the right words here. You just have to be locked in and have the sense of urgency no matter who's in the game. And, obviously it's a different feeling when 1-5's in there, a guy that can make anything happen, even on one ankle or whatever happened to him today. And, that's just the mentality. You always have to be able to lock in and take it play by play and drive by drive, and not let the emotions of the game get the best of you. Nah, I wasn't around.
Travis, you mentioned the word attacking. 17 targets today. How much of that was by design against this specific opponent? You see something from over the last couple of weeks?
It's really all just predicated off of what goes on out there, and how the defense reacts to what we're doing. I think it was just I was fortunate enough to be able to make those plays and have the pride to be able to make those plays every single day for this team, man. And I take a lot on myself to be able to make those plays week in, week out, especially when we need it the most, man.
Last two.
Travis, Andy Reid said every time he's at the podium, it seems you've broken another record. I know you don't care much about individual records, but just how does it feel to have a really big game tonight to help your team win and move on?
Feels really good to have Andy Reid as my coach calling plays for me.
Travis, I know nobody in the locker room doubts Patrick Mahomes' toughness and competitive fire, but the fourth quarter today, did he show you guys a different level even than in the past?
I mean, we've been through a lot of ups and downs in this team, especially since I've been here. I think I've seen all the grit out of that guy I need to see to know that he's going to, do anything he can to help us win that game. And sure enough, you saw it today. Nothing is ever surprising. It's always just, appreciated, very much appreciated.
All right, thank you.
Have a good one, guys.
There's Travis Kelce going to his 5th consecutive AFC Championship game. Joining the Chiefs back when Andy Reid first got to town. He has seen some real changes in this organization, and now to the absolute mountaintop of consistency over these last 5 years. Remarkable. We are good from the podium, right, Beards? We just have Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes we'll bring you later on. Plus, from the locker room, we'll get to Marquez Valdez-Scantling, Creed Humphrey, and Justin Reid. First, though, before we take a quick time out, I want to get back to the phones and get Evan on here. Evan, apologize for the pump fake earlier. Appreciate you staying on hold, my friend. What's going on?
Hey, Joshua. Hey, no problem waiting. I was going to say thank you for having me on the phone tonight. I appreciate it. You know what, hey, I just honestly got Arrowhead parking lot tonight. It was a complete freak show getting out there tonight. But you know what? I would rather be nowhere else than Arrowhead Stadium tonight. Be in the divisional playoff game against the Jaguars. I love Patrick Mahomes. I love the Chiefs. I've been a lifelong fan. I'm 22 years old, and I've seen Tyler State play Matt Castle, and there's nothing like watching Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce tear the field up like they do. You agree with me on that?
I most certainly do.
There you go. You know what? Hey, tonight I love the rookies getting involved, and I love this so much. Hey, and I want to see him get more involved, and I want to see Kadarius Toney and McCole Harmon. Hopefully, he get back healthy. But you know what? I love his defense. I love the defense. They don't get enough credit in the O-line. The defense, the O-line, the most important things in this team tonight. Creed Humphrey, Joe Thuney, and Orlando Brown are the most important things in this offense. You know what's going on. Okay, you know what? Personally, I want to see the Bengals next week, and I want to beat them at home. I don't want the neutral site. I hate the neutral site. Yeah. NFL wants all the money. I don't care. Bengals, Arrowhead, we beat them 10 out of 10. Thank you very much for the call. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Evan, thank you for listening, calling in, and it sounds like providing some of the noise out there at Arrowhead. I certainly hope the home crowd gets a chance to do that again next week as well. I am not a huge enthusiast about the neutral site game. I hope it ends up at Arrowhead. I hope this is not the first of many neutral site championship games for the NFL. We'll see, but I think Evan's right that the NFL is usually going to find a way to squeeze out another nickel from the sport if they can. I hope that's not the case, and I certainly, again, hope that the Bengals handle their business tomorrow against Buffalo to keep that from even being a concern, at least for this season. I want to make it 5 in a row at Arrowhead. The Chiefs are going to make it 5 in a row appearances, hosting the AFC Championship, at least, depending on where it actually gets played. But that's out of their hands. They did their part, which is to punch their ticket back to the AFC Championship game. We'll take a break. More of the Sports Radio 810 WHB Postgame Show on the other side.
You're listening to exclusive postgame coverage on Kansas City's home for the NFL. Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Brought to you by Casey's Own CBD American Shaman. Come on into your local Shaman store for a free sample of stress-sacking CBD. Everything is better with the feather.
The NFL playoffs are heating up, and with FanDuel, every play is a rush. New customers join today so you can bet the divisional round with $150 in free bets. That's guaranteed. You heard me right, guaranteed. When you place your first $5 bet, just sign up with the promo code PETRO, P-E-T-R-O. Listen, you can go out and throw $150 on the over Patrick Mahomes passing yards. That's always a great play. America's #1 sportsbook. FanDuel has all your favorite bets from money line to point spreads to player props. Plus, with FanDuel, you can even combine your bets. Get a bigger payout with the same game parlay. All on an app that's safe, secure, and super easy to use. So football fans, don't miss. Right now, place your first $5 bet to get $150 in free bets, win or lose, when you use the promo code PETRO, P-E-T-R-O. Listen, make every moment more with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NFL.
21 plus and present in Kansas. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable free bets that expires in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement with Kansas Star Casino LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
Stop in at Total Bowling Gear in Overland Park. Total Bowling Gear is the only superstore in Kansas City devoted strictly to bowling. With over 6,300 square feet of bowling products, Total Bowling Gear stocks all of today's leading brands in bowling under one roof. Come by today to see the world's largest selection of bowling balls, bags, shoes, and accessories, and speak with the most experienced staff in the metro area. So check out Total Bowling Gear at 6990 West 105th Street, just one block east of Metcalf on 105th. Or call 913-258-8333. That's 913-258-8333.
Hey, Kansas City, have you tried the fan favorite Travis Kelce's 87 and running concrete treat yet at Andy's Frozen Custard? Made with the world's finest vanilla frozen custard and blended with Oreo cookie dough and caramel, a portion of the proceeds goes to Travis's foundation. So go top your day off with a smile at Andy's. Right now, they're serving up warm store-baked chocolate chip cookies, hot fudge, and their famous vanilla frozen custard as both a Cookie Casanova sundae or Cookie Casanova jackhammer treat. And when you go to Andy's Frozen Custard, tell them Stephen St. John and Andy sent you.
Shop Menards today and save big money on our full selection of interior lighting options from Patriot Lighting. Find your style with Patriot Lighting's great selection of unique finishes and styles. From flush mount lighting to chandeliers, vanity lights to recessed lighting, under cabinet lights, and more. We have the lighting options for any room of your home. Stop in today and save big money on interior lights from Patriot Lighting at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
Do you have a frog? You know, a freezing room over the garage? Now that everyone is home, are you looking to convert your frog into an office, a schoolroom, or a comfortable room to escape your family? With no ductwork required, Mitsubishi Electric offers room-by-room air filtration and precise temperature control. Let's help you turn those cold, uncomfortable spaces in your house into a space you and your family will really enjoy. To learn more about Mitsubishi Electric's solutions, visit keepkccool.com today. Now, they can help you whether you need to heat it up or cool it down. Mitsubishi's got you covered. Our biggest problem here in the Sports Radio 810 control room and studio was the heat. We've got a lot of windows and a lot of radio equipment, and our Mitsubishi unit has kept us cool for years. It works like a charm, and it works quickly, and it's whisper quiet. It's been a real game changer for us at Sports Radio 810. Check them out at keepkccool.com. That's keepkccool.com today.
Moving is an old industry with lots of moving companies still in their old ways. At Let's Get Moving, their main focus is helping make the moving process as easy as possible. Many movers will underestimate moves to get the business. Then once there, the quote goes up. At Let's Get Moving, they are always transparent and as efficient as possible while they help plan out the entire move. Their whole mission and business theory is simple: good karma. Let's Get Moving is a full-service moving company offering everything from a simple move across the street or an entire pack and move of a house or business across the country. Let's Get Moving. Over 40 years experience in the moving industry.
The divisional round of the NFL playoffs finishes with a Sunday doubleheader. Hi, this is Scott Graham. Join me and the rest of our Westwood One crew for all the action. First, Joe Burrow and the Bengals take on Josh Allen and the Bills. Then it's a classic NFC showdown when the Dallas Cowboys meet the San Francisco 49ers. Coverage begins at 2:30 p.m. Eastern. From the wild card round all the way to Super Bowl 57 in Arizona, the NFL playoffs are right here.
Sports Radio 810 WHB.
The other day, I bought a cockatoo. Hello! He's a handful, but I'll manage. Just like I manage without home internet. Sure, my mobile hotspot is slow and makes streaming shows unbearable, but I'm making do. Oh no, who's this?
It's mating season, Dad!
No home internet? It's not that bad!
Don't settle. Get Xfinity Home Internet for just $19.99 a month for 1 year with a free streaming box. Call, click, or visit a store today. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. After 12 months, regular rates apply. Offer ends 2/21/23.
McKinnon, the running back, in motion. Shotgun snap to Mahomes. Left tackle block. Moves up. Messy pocket. Throws in the end zone. Caught. Touchdown. Underneath the crossbar by Marquez Valdez-Scantling. Leaping high. His glove snatched that ball out of the air. A 6-yard touchdown pass. And the Chiefs now lead by 9 with confetti in the air. And a lead with 7:08 to go, and the extra point coming up as Mahomes again hobbles to the sideline.
That play was electric. Arrowhead was electric. That is our electric play of the game, brought to you by Bickmer Electric. Bickmer Electric, from small jobs to big jobs, the Bickmer team knows how to take care of your commercial and residential electric needs. Bickmer Electric. Truly a ridiculous showing from the Kansas City Chiefs, from Patrick Mahomes, from the whole team effort that got to the point that sent the Chiefs back once more to the AFC Championship game. I'm going to keep saying it because I really think it's important and worth doing. 5 in a row. The fifth. It's the combination of me going 5 and 5th at the same time. It's the 5th. It's 5. 5 years. Think about where you were at in your life 5 years ago. Things that were different.
I was here.
I was also here. But barely. We just started Beards. We were doing I think what we do 1 year of Almost Entirely Sports on ESPN Kansas City where Alex Smith was a quarterback wire to wire.
Yeah, I think it's right.
Now, we definitely started before the 17 draft because I remember talking about Patrick Mahomes leading up to that draft. Hello. Yeah, a little pat myself on the back.
I think August 17?
That sounds about right. Yeah, we were doing a little, that would have been, well, you know what? We were talking pre-draft Mahomes. It might have been Sports Saturday, Sports Sunday. So anyway, all of that to say is that I have the incredibly good fortune of my time in Kansas City radio pretty much starting right in concert with Patrick Mahomes. I do not take that blessing lightly. But I imagine that some of our older fans and listeners, older Chiefs fans and our listeners probably had a nice chuckle when our last caller mentioned being 22 and remembering the bad football. But that's real. Like, I'm 28, an old man. And the names that our last caller mentioned of, the Tyler Thigpen, Tyler Palco, Matt Castle, all of those things. Like, we were building Kyle Orton, Brady Quinn. I mean, some really important eras of Chiefs football. And those are just in my era. I'm not going back to I forgot about Big Bleep Nick. And for me, my trauma does not go back to the Bono, Gerback, DeBerg kind of categories. Those aren't my quarterbacks of my youth. I did at one point, I'm sure, ask my mom for a Damon Heward jersey, though. So, we all have our guys, right? I was a big fan of the Tylers. I really was. And Matt Castle. And we've just come a really, really, really long way. The Chiefs have come a long way. The city's come a long way. And here we are again tonight, 5 in a row. Unreal. Let's start hearing from the locker room very shortly. Marquez Valdez-Scantling, Creed Humphrey, and Justin Reid, all sent back from reporter extraordinaire Todd Lebo. We'll also talk to Matt Derrick of Chiefs Digest in a little bit as well. But before we do, got to let you know that our locker room report's brought to you by Twin Peaks.
The Chiefs Locker Room Report is brought to you by Twin Peaks. No one does football like Twin Peaks. Whatever your preference, they have everything from tequila cocktails and an extensive bourbon category to top shelf spirits and cocktails served over ice balls. Local craft beers and handcrafted whiskey cocktails round out an adventurous drink menu, second to none. And don't forget about their 29-degree man-sized drafts at Twin Peaks.
You just heard his touchdown. Let's hear from the man himself, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, catching up with Todd Lebo, or vice versa, I suppose, in the Chiefs locker room after the win. Well, shortly.
Can you just talk about, Pat, the touchdown drive when he throws that touchdown to you, just the guts he showed to, kind of hobble his way through.
Pat wanted to go back in, the first drive he got injured in. And, obviously he did, and obviously that shows the toughness that he has as a quarterback and, a leader to our team and how important he is, to our team and, the resilience that he shows and trickles down to all the guys on the team.
How good did that touchdown feel?
It was great, man. Obviously, it was a big moment in the game. Give us a bit of a lead, some breathing room, and watching Pat and being on the ground, getting up, still excited, hobbling off the field. Just shows the toughness that he is and the leader that he is.
What was the route that you were running, kind of dragging across the back of the end zone?
It was just a slant route. I seen that I had zero coverage, just one-on-one with that guy, and the back motioned out, the linebacker went with them. I knew they were going to double trav, so left me one-on-one. So I just know I had to get across and let Pat find me.
When you guys, obviously you have to focus on the game itself, but what goes through your mind when you see Pat go down?
He's our quarterback, so you never want to see anybody go down, especially your captain. But I knew he was tough. I knew he was going to be able to get up and keep going. But obviously we still have a football game and we were ready to keep going. As you see, Chad came in, we went 99 yards and scored a touchdown. So
when Patrick first came back in, was really kind of hobbling. What was he like in the huddle there? Did he feel any different than anything else?
Nah, he was the same self. There was no difference. He just said, "Let's score." Starts off every drive with some positive words, talks about the play and how we're going to go down and score.
When you guys are there, we're focusing on the next drive. Did you even know he went back to the locker room? Are you paying attention to that part of it? Or?
Obviously we were still in the game. So guys were checking on me. Hey, what happened with Pat? So they said he was good. Taped him up, and he said he'll be back.
There's Marquez Valdez-Scantling. I have to imagine that is a very jarring place to be for a wide receiver and certainly for a team and offense. Everybody there wondering when you're going to see Patrick Mahomes again, if you're going to see Patrick Mahomes again in that game, and then by default in that season. I want to pass along a stat here just tweeted out moments ago by Nick Jacobs over at KSHB41 along the lines of the thing I will keep mentioning until I get tired of saying it, which I don't think will be anytime soon, that the Chiefs are headed to their 5th consecutive AFC Championship game. Woo! Nick tweets out consecutive conference championship appearances here in NFL history. The Patriots from 2011 through 2018 did it 8 straight times. That's nuts. And obviously overlapped by 1 year with the Chiefs meeting in that year's championship game. So the Patriots did it 8 years in a row. The mid-70s Raiders with John Madden did it 5 times, which the Chiefs have now tied with their active run. Raiders got 5 from 73 to 77. Chiefs have 5 now, tied for second. The early 90s Bills did it 4 times in a row. The Cowboys did it in the 70s and in the 90s. And the Eagles did it in the early 2000s, meaning that Andy Reid is on this list twice. That's pretty cool. Now, Bill Belichick has 2 4 consecutive streaks. They're just neck and neck together because it was 8 in a row. But Andy Reid has a 4 and 5 conference championship consecutive appearances stretch there. 4 in a row with the Eagles in the early 2000s. 5 in a row with the Chiefs here now from 2018 to this moment. It's a pretty cool spot that the Chiefs find themselves in. Really ridiculous. We'll go back to the locker room, though, and stay on the offensive side because Creed Humphrey is certainly the man who needs to be familiar with where exactly Patrick Mahomes is. Here's the center on the Chiefs' offensive line here on Sports Radio 810 WHB Kansas City.
The energy in the building kind of sinks when Pat's not in. Were the jokes needed? Was that something that was good at the moment? You know what I mean? Help everybody out?
I think we weren't too, we knew we got to execute our job no matter what. So we know Chad coming in, we know what he can do. We know the plays he can make too. So we knew that, we just execute our jobs, we will to move down the field.
What kind of message does that send, though, when you see Pat, you see how much he is hurting and that he wants to get back in there, he's angry that he even has to come out?
Yeah, it's a huge message. Like I said, everybody in this building knows Pat's a tough dude. So being able to see him come out, playing on an ankle, that can hurt. So for him to be able to do that's awesome to see.
How much did you guys have to kind of change maybe some of the game plan with that?
Yeah, not too much. I think we stuck to the game plan that we had coming in pretty well. And, Pat made a ton of great plays in the second half, and he battled through it, and he did a great job.
Was everyone aware that, he can't really be mobile, so we might have to, shore it up in the pocket?
Yeah, at the end of the day, we knew we had to execute our job up front, keep them clean. That was a big emphasis for us. Going back out there in the second half, we were going to keep them clean. We didn't want them to get touched. So, I think the O-line did a great job of that throughout the second half, too. So, credit to Pat making plays like that, coming in, toughing it out. He did an awesome job tonight.
What's communication like down there for you guys? We're all looking through binoculars up there, see what he's doing on the sideline. You got to be focused on your job. At that point, did you even know that he went back to the locker room?
No, I had no clue he went back to the locker room, to be honest with you. But, I just knew they had me get a couple of snaps with Chad. And so I was ready, whoever was going to be, whether it was Pat or Chad coming in. We knew we had a job to execute, so we just went out there and did our jobs.
You show up whoever's in the huddle's in the huddle, right?
Exactly, yeah.
There's Creed Humphrey, interesting, because MVS also kind of implied that he didn't know Mahomes went to the locker room. But Creed, being the center, snapping the ball to the quarterback, also saying he had no idea. Which makes sense, right? Because he was out of the game before he went. It's not like he went straight to the locker room or, mercifully, not like he needed to get carted off or anything like that. But just had to be such an interesting scene to be able to paint the picture just a little bit of what that sideline was like is a really interesting wrinkle in this game tonight that, again, borderline miraculously, it seems. That might be a little bit of a big word for the moment, but I don't know how much of Kansas City wants to disagree with me on this. A little bit of a miracle in the fact that we are talking about what it was like before he returned to the game. Now, look, again, will that ankle stiffen up this week? When that vitamin T wears off in that ankle, how's it going to feel tomorrow? Probably not very good.
It was just tape.
Vitamin tape is what I meant, actually,
yeah, right.
Is the vitamin T, yeah.
That's what Collinsworth was saying anyway.
I think that's what he meant.
I mean, you can tell just by how thick that tape is on that ankle.
That's exactly right. That's a vitamin level. That's prescription tape right there. Just an absolute... It's just ridiculous that we are able to talk about that moment in retrospect now, and Mahomes going to the locker room, and then him returning later. And again, if he's not mobile at all against the Bills or the Bengals next week, it's going to significantly impact how I feel about the Chiefs' chances in that game. It'll impact the spread. It'll impact all sorts of things. We don't have to be in that moment just yet, though, because we are here, and the Chiefs did an unbelievable thing. It's ridiculous. Let's go back to the defensive side here from the locker room. Justin Reid speaking to the media from the locker room and giving a little bit of a view of what the game was like from the backside of the defense.
Who we face, it's going to be about us anyway. As far as our minds go, it's going to be about us and how we perform and execute the game plan, and that's how we're going to move forward.
Did you feel a pressure on the defensive side to step up, knowing that with Patrick out, the offense might not put up the points that they normally do?
Yeah, I mean, the pressure is always there. I mean, this is the playoffs, and a lot of games in playoff football, it comes down to how well our offense is always going to put up points. Patrick obviously is the MVP candidate of the league, but we still have confidence in Chad Henne too. But the playoffs, your defense got to come to play too. And you've seen that happen, throughout the history of the league, that defensive performances is what wins championships. And that's the mentality we have on the defensive side of the ball. We were winning at that point in the game, so we knew if we just held them, we win.
What is it about Frank Clark that makes him just built for playoff football?
Man, the guy is just special. His work ethic, he really brings it out to play. Guy's dangerous. He has all the energy in the world, and makes plays happen. Especially when you have two all-star caliber players in him and Chris Jones, it's tough for opposing offenses to try and stop both of them. They kind of have to pick one at times. And, if there's a double team on Chris, it frees up Frank. And if there's a double team on Frank, it frees up Chris. So those two guys being on the field at the same time is big for us.
You guys had a couple of huge possessions to start the second half where you got them to punt it. That kind of helped settle everything down because then Patrick came back in the game.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. That's the four most important series in the game that we always preach in our locker room is the opening kickoff, the end of the first half, the opening series of the second half, and then, of course, the last series of the game. If you do well in those four series, then odds are you're doing pretty well in the game.
And you got these young guys back there with you all the time, made some plays. Take us through what you saw with Jalen on that pick.
Yeah. First off, great call by Coach Spagnuolo. Dialing up the pressure, actually sent me through the B gap. I came free. Forced Trevor Lawrence to throw a ball kind of off of his back foot. Jalen was in, basically like a too high type of coverage, turned his head around quickly. I almost thought he wasn't going to turn around in time, but he got his head turned around in time, came down with the ball. Big time play in a big time moment, really changed the momentum for us and, started to ice the game.
And the other play, the turnover, it looked like it wasn't even a hit. He fumbled the ball. There was that scrum down there. What'd you see on that play?
Tempo type of play. I was in line to the right. Trevor Lawrence came, hot throw to number 39, caught the ball. I think LJ ended up making the play on him to where he ended up making him fumble and turn into a scrum. And, anything goes in a scrum. At the end of the day, you just got to come out with the ball.
You guys were -3 in turnovers last time you played, and you're +2 tonight. What's the significance of turning that stat around?
Yeah, we're just keeping the train going that we started at the end of the season. That's why it was important for us to end the season strongest. We rated so strongly. The turnovers started coming in December, January, so they're starting to show up for us in big-time moments. And, that was a big emphasis this week, too. It was how we didn't have any turnovers the last time we played them. We had to find a way to get some of those this time.
So what were the discussions like on the defense after?
There's Justin Reid from the locker room. Interesting, especially at the beginning there, to hear him talk a little bit about what the pressure is like on a defense, what the mentality is for a defense in the playoffs, regardless of how your offense is performing, regardless of how your quarterback's health is looking. That pressure is there in the playoffs. He's right. And really, the barometer for a successful defensive performance changed when Mahomes went down. Even when he was back in the game, it was still different. It went from, hey, just give us an average performance, and we'll take that 100 times out of 100. Same goes for the special teams. Just an average day at the office, we're all happy with that. Well, that changes when you don't know if you can rely on your offense. And Chad Henne's version of the offense paid off. Patrick Mahomes' banged-up version of the offense made enough plays late in the game. But then you did have, not every opportunity, but you did have a lot of opportunities made the most of by this defense. You get the pick to basically ice it at the end. Just a really, really good showing for a unit that I think has gotten more flack than it's deserved over the course of this season.
Do you want a fun little stat just really quickly that I just figured out?
I always want a fun little stat.
So, Patrick Mahomes, I think how I want this. Okay, Trevor Lawrence threw for 217 yards.
Okay.
Patrick Mahomes and Chad Henne combined for 218.
Yeah, that is surprising.
And 2 more touchdowns.
That's a surprising stat line. I'm a little bit. Boy, you want to hear another thing that just?
Trevor Lawrence threw 2 more passes, by the way.
You want to hear something else that just sounds wrong? Patrick Mahomes and Chad Henne were not sacked at any point in this game. Beards just cackled. You couldn't hear it because his mic was off, but I just saw him cackle. That doesn't sound correct. I vaguely remember Patrick Mahomes being impacted by defenders relatively harshly a few times. Those weren't sacks? Crazy. That right there is that's a quarterback getting rid of the football at the last possible second and making magic with it. Absolutely wild. Chiefs win 27-20. A little bit later, we'll hear from Derrick of Chiefs Digest. We'll hear from Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. They had to say about everything that unfolded there today. Plus, there's a lot to talk about here. I feel like we have barely scratched the surface of all the things going on in this game, so we got a lot to unpack. And then also, we will at some point tonight join in progress the NFC divisional round game of the day, Eagles at Giants.
How's that one going?
Well, the Eagles, I thought for sure, you almost set me up perfectly, Beard. I don't know if you have it on in there.
I do not.
I was moments away from being able to announce that it was now 21-0 Eagles, as opposed to it still being 14-0 Eagles. But they just picked up a first down in the red zone, down around the 2-yard line, 3-yard line, it looks like.
So you're saying there's still a chance?
I'm saying there's still a chance. I'm saying it hasn't looked very good for the Giants so far. That Jalen Hurts looks pretty good. The Eagles look pretty good. And that the 1 seeds in both conferences look pretty good. In fact, I just saw Jason Kelce fall into the end zone in front of Boston Scott, who fell into the end zone with the football. 20-0, PAT pending there in Philadelphia. So I won't rush the show to get us to the second half of that one unless some real wild stuff happens, but we'll join that for the remainder of the night here on 810 as well. A lot of football to be had, a lot of talking about it all to be done. Tomorrow's games, of course, will also be right here on your home for the NFL, Sports Radio 810 WHB. Beards McFly on the other side of the glass. Dylan Michaels producing as well. I am Joshua Brisco. More Chiefs postgame whenever we come back.
You're listening to exclusive postgame coverage on Kansas City's home for the NFL, Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Brought to you by Casey's own CBD American Shaman. Come on into your local shaman store for a free sample of stress-sacking CBD. Everything is better with the feather.
When you need a fence, call Slagle Fence. It all started a decade ago, one fence at a time. 2 small-town Kansas brothers decided that they could build a better fence at a reasonable price. Today, Slagle Fence has grown to be one of the largest residential fence installers covering the entire KC Metro. Slagle installs it all, wood to ornamental steel to vinyl. No job is too large, and it will look great too. Call today for a free estimate, 816-863-6159 or slaglefence.com. My Freight World, a third-party logistics company based in Overland Park, is looking to add more account executives to the team. The account executive role offers great work-life balance, strong operational support, and an uncapped commission structure that truly rewards those that get after it. There is a better way to do things, and My Freight World's customers love them because they save them time and money. Plus, remove uncertainty from the freight transportation process. Check out their career page at myfreightworld.com to learn more and apply today.
I'm here with Brad McGee from LBA Home Services. Brad, any New Year's resolutions?
Nope, not one.
Really? I would have thought...
What is a New Year's resolution, really?
Well, it's where you try to...
We both know it's a promise you probably won't keep.
But there's an intention...
Intentions are not as important as what you do. Remember, I work at LBA Home Services, and perfect is our minimum standard.
Right.
So when we make a promise, we keep it every time.
I see what you mean.
We say we'll install your heating and cooling system for a certain price. That's the price, down to the penny.
No wiggle room?
Perfect has no wiggle room. The plumbers and technicians at LBA, absolute perfectionists. Everyone at LBA thinks this way.
So, New Year's resolutions
are nonsense. If making a change is the right thing to do, we wouldn't wait until the new year to do it.
That's a good point. One simple idea, one name to remember.
Just remember LBA.
LBAservices.com.
Hollywood Casino at Kansas Speedway has Kansas City's only sportsbook. Bet on your favorite Kansas City sports teams while playing the newest slot machines, doubling down on the hottest table games, or indulging in amazing food options. Barstool Sportsbook and Hollywood Casino at Kansas Speedway. The best bet before, after, and now on every game. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
With PatriotSoftware.com, accounting and payroll, keep your time and money.
Mike Capel here, serial entrepreneur. We entrepreneurs are always improving our listening skills. My dad told me at age 29, Michael, you're a man now. You're about to be married. You have responsibilities. You'd be a fool to start your own business. I did what any loving son would do. I started 5 of them. I didn't listen to my dad, but I have learned to listen to my customers. which is why my fifth successful business, Patriot Software, created accounting software to help non-accountants like me keep accurate accounting records. Go to patriotsoftware.com. Use promo code RADIO and get 2 months of accounting software free. That's patriotsoftware.com.
Patriotsoftware.com. Accounting and payroll. Keep your time and money.
Ready to change your life? Get a smile you'll love to the moon and back. Expert orthodontist Dr. Moon and his friendly team use the latest technology to make your journey fast, precise, and affordable. They invite patients of all ages to experience warm orthodontic care in a family-friendly atmosphere, serving all ages in Olathe and Overland Park while offering the latest technology in orthodontic care. It's Moon Orthodontics. Revolutionize your smile with a free consultation. Visit moonortho.com.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-444-9336. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-444-9336. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-444-9336. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-444-9336. 800-444-9336.
Second down and 6, shotgun snap and a launching pass down the far side, leaping, interception made. Jalen Watson, who falls down on the far sideline at the 31, a backpedaling, leaping interception on the sideline by Kansas City at the 31 of the Chiefs. And it's made by Jalen Watson, a rookie out of Washington State. And another turnover, back-to-back turnovers by Jacksonville.
Two huge turnovers in very short sequence for the Jags, and a tremendous play made by Jalen Watson on the interception. That was a legit one-handed pick, by the way. It wasn't just one hand out, bringing it into the other. It was one hand out and tucking to the body. His offhand never actually came back to secure the ball because he didn't need it. That is why that is without question our defensive play of the game, presented by Slagle Fence. When you need a fence, call Slagle Fence. Slagle Fence installs it all from wood to ornamental steel to vinyl to chain link. No job is too large, and it'll look great too. Schedule your free estimate by going to slaglefence.com or call 816-863-6159. The defense is a part of the equation that I don't think we've talked quite enough about tonight. And then shortly we'll hear from Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, and Matt Derrick as well. But let's talk about two elements of the game that aren't just Patrick Mahomes and all of the craziness that comes with that, and aren't just about 5 straight AFC Championship games. I want to shine a couple of spotlights real quick. The easy one to mention again, God, Travis Kelce's unbelievable.
And he's also good at football.
True. I'm imagining that there are probably some answers, if you want to say like, oh, if he was with the Bills, maybe this wouldn't be true. But just about every team in football, Travis Kelce would be the only dude on it who you cared about. Or at least the guy you knew the most about, the player you most enjoyed watching and thinking, man, how cool would it be for Patrick Mahomes to have a guy like that. If Travis Kelce was on another team with another quarterback, he would be the face of that franchise. That's really what I mean by the guy you'd know about. Any other team, with a couple exceptions, the vast majority of teams, he would have been the face of the franchise for this last decade. Certainly, the back half of his career. But you heard him reference it in his presser. He knows he's got it good with Andy Reid being the guy who's drawn his whole career up. And also, Andy Reid knows he's got it good that he made the right draft pick and that his team made the right draft pick. back when they called Travis Kelce and he asked, "Are you going to bleep this up?" And he said no. And he didn't. 14 catches on 17 targets in this game, where the Chiefs completed 27 passes. Real quick, Beards, can you help me with the math? So 27, okay?
Uh-huh.
If you have 27 and 14,
right?
What's the ratio there? Let's like take 14, I guess, and maybe like double it would get you
28.
28. Okay, so Travis Kelce had more than half of the receptions in this football game for the Chiefs.
That's pretty good.
On a day where QB1 was on fire until his ankle exploded. And then it was QB2 and a genuinely hobbled QB1. And they just always knew that, you know what, at the very least, 87's probably going to be in motion before the snap, and he's going to find somewhere for me to put that football. Dude's unreal. A total cheat code. I'm not telling you he's the greatest pass catcher in the history of the NFL, although I would love to eventually be able to make an argument that sounds sort of like that. But I'm telling you, there's nobody like him, period. There's just not, and I don't know that there ever will be. I hope the Chiefs draft tight ends for a long time and develop them and keep them in this offense, and I'm already enamored with like the entire Georgia depth chart at tight end. But the way that Travis Kelce, I think it was Chris Collinsworth who said something like, Travis Kelce probably reads defenses better than like 90% of the quarterbacks in football. And I think that might be legitimately true. And he's reading from different spots on the field. He has the toolbox to exploit whatever he's seeing. He's just unbelievable. An outrageous talent paired with the type of football brain that you just don't usually get outside of the quarterback position, near as I can tell. I'm not the authority on that, so I quoted what Chris Collinsworth said. I can't remember if he actually said 90%, but it was a compliment along those lines. He's just always open. He's always the right guy to go to. And it feels like all you got to do is establish the Kelce. It's unbelievable. So I don't ever want to gloss over 87, because the dude's unreal. But we've got to speak on the defense. The last 3 weeks of the regular season, I told you this the first time, and the second time I said, hey, there's a pattern, and then after the Raiders game, I told you, I am in. We saw a pattern over the last 3 weeks, and it was a defense that finally found its barn full of homing missiles. Especially these young corners, man. I love them. And you had a couple of spots of busted coverage here and there. They gave up 17 points when it mattered. They gave up the field goal, and the Jags took that at the end of the game. 17, 20, whatever. Also, with that starting with 2 drives in terrible field position for the defense because of long kick returns on special teams. But this defense did everything you could ask for it to do in this game tonight. Against a team that did a lot more offensively against a defense with the Los Angeles Chargers that has been better this year than the Chiefs defense has. And it really all came together on that Jalen Watson pick. It was a Spags blitz, a hurried throw. Lawrence floated it, and then one of these young corners went out there and leapt to the sky and brought that ball down from the clouds. That's the recipe. That's it. That's what you've been sold. That's what we're buying. That's what the Chiefs need to keep playing into February to win the one game in February. That's it. They had some really, really good moments They had a couple of tough ones. It turned into a handful of points. The Jags scored 10 points entering the fourth quarter, before the fourth quarter. You don't allow the 10 in the fourth and all that? Yeah, for sure. But I'll take that defensive performance every time from the Chiefs. And they did it when their offense wasn't firing on all cylinders after the Mahomes injury. And this really is, we mentioned this taking calls earlier as well. But this really is the payoff, frankly, of the Tyreek Hill trade. I don't like just mentioning Tyreek Hill for no reason. I know that it gets annoying and like through the lens of, how are the Chiefs going to survive without Tyreek Hill? That's not what I'm doing. I'm not doing that because we all know better. But the logic of that trade was like, all right, we're going to get some picks and we're going to see what we can do to make ourselves a little more flexible, a little younger, a little more athletic defensively. How can we reload this defensive unit? Okay, well, on some level, not to be like super dismissive, on some level, that's the easy part. All right, let's make this defense younger. Okay, cool. Every Chiefs fan in America, and also around the world, in Germany, I'm going to try to expand that, internationally. No matter what language you speak, you probably watched the Chiefs and saw 49 and 56 on the field quite a bit last year. And we're like, that's a lot of playing time for those guys. Could the Chiefs get more athletic at those positions? That would be nice. You know, Tyrann Mathieu has his worst season in Kansas City. You know, Charvarius Ward's getting paid. The Chiefs can be the team to do that. Now the Niners do it. What are you expecting from another year of L'Jarius Sneed? Really high ceiling from his debut. He's made a great impact, but can he be the guy? Well, what the Chiefs did then was completely overhaul the defense with youth. You still got your Carlos Dunlap kind of Melvin Ingram replacement, but you spend your... It was the Chiefs' original pick, right? With where they drafted Karlaftis? Doesn't matter. You grab George Karlaftis at the end of the first. His growth has been substantial. You saw him, not the Christian Kirk touchdown. That's not his fault. Frankly, I don't know if that's really Spags' fault either. The Jags found the Chiefs in a spot. They liked him, and they had the exact play. Christian Kirk out of the backfield, and the way the alignment ended up, that was Karlaftis' assignment. The Jags just had a great chess move there. Just a great chess move. If you say, hey, Spags is supposed to be great, he needs to have a counter move, totally get it. But I just kind of tip my hat to Doug Peterson in that moment. But you see George Karlaftis, his relentless presence, even whenever he's not the dude just like eating quarterbacks alive, complimentary pass rush, a team effort, pushing from different spots on the pocket, just trying to give somebody a chance, even if you're not the one most outrageously winning the rep. Can you not lose it? Can you make a little bit of pressure and have someone else try to clean it up? Karlaftis has been taking strides over the course of his rookie season. You got to feel great about that. They trade up for Trent McDuffie. Teams don't even throw at him anymore. Every once in a while, I think he had a bad play tonight. I can't remember what it was in particular. I'm not going to go scrub through my notes to find it because that's not the point. Teams don't like throwing at Trent McDuffie. Call. That might have been.
Yeah,
that
also, holding call.
That also might have been declined. The play was somewhere else. I don't remember.
I think they got like a big. Yeah, they got a big first out of it, and they just declined it.
You're gonna find your hands of the face and your holds and your guys out of position. Again, the Chiefs had at least one bad busted coverage, but generally teams don't like throwing at Trent McDuffie. L'Jarius Sneed is a star. And then they draft both, after they have McDuffie, they draft both first Joshua Williams, and then, in the 7th, Jalen Watson. They develop those guys to the point that they eventually are comfortable trading away Rashad Fenton. They say, we love our group. We're going to believe in it. We're going to stick with it. These are our guys. By God, it worked. The Chiefs in the Steve Spagnuolo era have gotten outrageously good production out of their cornerbacks for the investment they put into them. When you're giving me day 2 and 3, actually both day 3 draft picks at corner, competing and then playing really solid football as your third corner because your rookie who came back from injury has been lights out, and your fourth rounder from a few years back is playing Pro Bowl caliber football. The Chiefs, specifically, their development of their young cornerbacks has been an incredible thing for them to hang their hat on from a coaching development standpoint. Tonight you saw it paying off because it's not just them defending the ball. It is the aggressiveness in the flats. It is the 4-yard pass that is only a 4-yard gain because they drop them there. I have a bunch of individual moments that I wrote down over the course of the game, and then I had a couple more moments that I just went, I'm not even going to write this down. I don't need to. This is the story from this group. They just keep doing it. It is not a fluke. It is not a one-off. It is not an individual memory expanding to everything else. This defense has an attitude, specifically from these young freaking corners. Those aren't supposed to be your big hitters. Those aren't supposed to be your thumpers. And they say, we don't really care very much about what we're supposed to be. We're going to come hit you, sir. Man, I love that. I love what we have seen over now these last 4 games. The linebackers today had a rough day. All of them did. I don't think there was a linebacker who had a good day of football for the Chiefs today. A couple good plays here and there. Not a good day. You got a couple good moments from Juan Thornhill. There's some busted coverage over the middle at times. Again, I don't know who gets a 100 out of 100. I don't think anybody gets a 0 out of 100 either. Everything's by degrees. But as a whole, I am thrilled with what the defense gave to the Chiefs today. And I am so excited about the young pieces who got here an hour and a half ago, it feels like. And they are making huge plays in the playoffs of their rookie season. Their first time in the playoffs, too. This isn't Patrick Mahomes and Frank Clark and Chris Jones and guys who have been here all this time. These are rookies making plays in the playoffs, and they're only going to get better. Oh, I am so excited about that fact. I'm also excited to talk to Matt Derrick of Chiefs Digest. We'll do that on the other side of a quick timeout here on the Sports Radio 810 WHB Postgame Show, brought to you by CBD American Shaman. Free CBD samples every day.
You're listening to exclusive postgame coverage on Kansas City's home for the NFL. Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Brought to you by Casey's own CBD American Shaman. Come on into your local shaman store for a free sample of stress-sacking CBD. Everything is better with the feather.
Not everyone can climb a ladder or spend all day on an uneven surface climbing to new heights. That's why God created a roofer. Someone who gets up before the morning light, works all day in the hot sun or bitter wind, and still makes it home in time to catch the kids' ball game. That's why God created a roofer. The kind of person who is most at home with a hammer in their hand and love in their heart. They believe that a team can do just about anything. That's a Shamrock roofer.
Icon is seeking healthy non-smoking men and women ages 18 to 55 to participate in a clinical research study at our facility in Lenexa, Kansas. Volunteers must be available for one stay of 6 nights and one follow-up phone call. Qualified participants may receive compensation up to $4,800 for time and travel. Call Icon today at 913-210-5900. That's 913-210-5900.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-444-9336. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. chance to buy $1 million of affordable term life for you. All you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-444-9336. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-444-9336. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-444-9336. 800-444-9336.
The NFL playoff action continues. We're one step closer to Super Bowl 57. And for the NFL divisional round, check out DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. New customers can bet just $5 and get $200 in free bets instantly. Plus, all new and existing customers can take a shot at an even bigger payout with DraftKings stepped-up same-game parlays. Boost your NFL winnings with each leg you add up to 100%. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code 810WHB. New customers can bet $5 on the NFL divisional round and get $200 in free bets instantly. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook with code 810WHB.
Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 800-522-4700. 21 plus, physically present in Kansas. Bonus issued as free bets. 1 boost per eligible game. Opt-in required. 10 plus leg required for 100% boost. Deposit, parlay, and wagering restrictions apply. Eligibility and terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/football terms. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort.
The other day, I bought a cockatoo. He's a handful, but I'll manage. Just like I manage without home internet. Sure, my mobile hotspot is slow and makes streaming shows unbearable, but I'm making do. Oh no, who's this?
It's mating season, Dad!
No home internet? It's not that bad!
Don't settle. Get Xfinity Home Internet for just $19.99 a month for 1 year with a free streaming box. Call, click, or visit a store today. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. Requires paperless billing and autopay with stored bank account. After 12 months, regular rates apply. Offer ends 2/21/23.
Frank Bowl here for my friends at CBD American Shaman. You've heard me talk about my experience with CBD products. If you struggle with pain, anxiety, sleep, or lack of energy, visit your local CBD American Shaman about the benefits of high-quality hemp oil. And if Kansas City scores big, you score big discounts. Kansas City puts up 30, it's 30% off. 50% off your order of $100 or more the day after the game. Only at CBD American Shaman. Life is better with a feather.
Second down and 10, 43 of Jacksonville. Here's a handoff. Pacheco breaks free, 40. Foot race on the near sideline, 30. A foot race down the near sideline, 20, 10. Running inside the 5 and knocked out just shy of the pylon to the 3. Pacheco directed over the tackle on the left side. Bounced outside. And he deceptively got free and racing down the near sideline for 40, and it's a 1st and goal for the Chiefs, who began at their 2, now at the Jacksonville 3.
An unbelievable run there by Isaiah Pacheco, and such a good call by Kevin Harlan to boot. That's our play of the game, brought to you by Central Bank. For more, visit them online at centralbank.net. I love watching Isaiah Pacheco run the football. I wouldn't have hated seeing it slightly more, just on a, hey, how much more does Patrick Mahomes need to do here for all of this sort of scale? But I just enjoy watching the ball in the hands of number 10. That dude moves, not just angry, that dude moves furious. I saw a very funny tweet about somebody. It just said, Isaiah Pacheco's toothbrush looks like this, and it was just, a toothbrush that had clearly been ground down to where it just looks like a absolute explosion of toothbrush hairs, like when you use a toothbrush for too long, never buy a new one. Is that just me? I do that. And I imagine they're right. Because that's what would happen if you brush your teeth at 900 miles an hour, which is sort of how it seems like Isaiah Pacheco lives his life. Speaking of funny tweets, and just a quick update on the NFC side before we get to Matt Derrick of Chiefs Digest. The Eagles have scored again, 28-0 with about 40 seconds left in the first half. The Giants will get the ball back. The best analysis of the game that I've seen on Twitter is from Marcus Spears, who just tweeted, "You ever see a bear fight a rabbit? Turn on Fox right now." Fox is where Eagles-Giants is currently happening, and it sort of is playing out like a fight between a bear and a rabbit, which is poorly. Things will go better now, though, because we've got Matt Derrick on the line. And Matt Derrick's appearance is brought to you by Shamrock Roofing and Construction, Kansas City's local, residential, and commercial roofing contractors. One call does it all with Shamrock Roofing. One call also does it all when it comes to getting all the information we need from the game tonight. Matt, I just want to know more than anything, and first of all, what it was like in the press box and then certainly, overlooking Arrowhead when Patrick Mahomes is as hobbled as we've seen him since his kneecap was on the side of his leg.
Yeah, I imagine the way it was pretty much everyone who was watching the game, a lot of people holding their breath and trying to figure out what was going on and scanning the field to see, watching the limp that I'm sure was going across the country. And then, just scanning the sidelines constantly, trying to figure out where he was, what was going on. And then, once he throws his coat down and heads back to the locker room, there was a while, probably 15, 20 minutes there, really just trying to figure out what was going on and if he was okay and what was really happening.
I think there might be a dozen parts of this game that we could talk about, but in that vein, I imagine that this is going to end up being a legacy type of game that we're telling stories about for a very long time. But I mean, again, you were there for it and looking around at what that was going, how that was all going to unfold. How do you think that game should end up, like, going into the archives, not knowing how the Chiefs' season will end, of course, still?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question because I do ask myself that a lot. Like, where will we later rank this? I mean, is this going to end up in the Hall of Fame highlight package for Patrick Mahomes? No, I don't know. I mean, it might just end up being so far down the list of crazy, incredible, heroic things that Patrick Mahomes has done that it doesn't even crack the top 10. But, the legend might grow depending on what happens next week. Yeah. I mean, I still feel that way about 13 seconds. I mean, there's a reason why, the 13 seconds Grim Reaper T-shirts are available, in the dollar bid.
Right.
Because they didn't win the Super Bowl. If they won the Super Bowl, Patrick Mahomes would be signing those things and they'd be on eBay for, $15,000.
Right.
But that didn't happen. So, to me, it's going to depend. I mean, if one-legged Patrick Mahomes takes the Chiefs to the Super Bowl and wins the title, then, yeah, I mean, I think this will be, everyone will remember the year that Patrick Mahomes beat the NFL on one leg.
Mm-hmm.
If this is the end of the story, it probably gets left in the dustbin of history.
Yeah.
But let's see what happens.
What else in the non-Mahomes hobbled division stood out to you? Because, again, I feel like this game gave us plenty to choose from outside of just the performance from 15.
It really was. I mean, the number of storylines, I mean, I'm just like, it's like a sugar overdose for, fellow diabetics here on trying to identify the best story because, I mean, there's three different stories about Patrick Mahomes. I mean, just not only, what he did on the field, but just what the players' reaction was, what they were thinking at the time. Chad Henne coming in, how does he deal with that? How does he calm down his teammates and get everybody focused? And then lead a 98-yard touchdown drive.
Crazy.
I mean, how many teams have we seen their backup quarterback come in and they just, drool on the field for 2.5 minutes and punt the football? Mm-hmm. Chad Henne comes in and goes 98 yards. Carlos Dunlap, veteran, finally gets his first playoff win, and it's, a day to the day, the anniversary of his father's death last year. It's just there's stories like that all across that locker room today.
When you were in there, then what was the energy? What was the what was everyone else kind of latching on to? Then was there something that tied those together?
I mean, first of all, I'm not sure that everybody knew, Carlos' story as far as, because like Nick Bolton didn't realize that was like his first playoff win. And there's some guys that didn't realize the part about his father. But everybody, his history and where he was and where he's been and everything. So there was a lot of that as far as just guys who are really happy for Carlos after all this time to getting to have this success and getting to finally be in the postseason because he had definitely let all his teammates know back in training camp the reason why he was here was to get a ring. Yeah. That's what he's trying to get. And, there's a lot of guys who are still on this team in that same kind of mode.
What about on the offense with how things ended up coming together? It's hilarious to look at the receiving box score because of the 27 completions, just over half of those went to Travis Kelce, 2 touchdowns, and Kadarius Toney also had 5 receptions, not as high flying a day as Kelce's. But the rest of the team, it was 2 catches for Juju and then 1 for everyone else. I would have lost this. I mean, I did lose this bet, so I guess I'll just put that out there. I would have lost the bet of Jerick McKinnon, 0 receptions out of this game. But also, I don't feel too bad about guessing wrong because, of course, things changed on the fly with how the offense was humming pre-injury and then hobbled post. But Travis Kelce, the highlight, Kadarius Toney next. What did you see from the pass catchers, and can we finally try to make the world appreciate Travis Kelce a little bit?
We should, shouldn't we? I mean, all the guy does is just go out and set records. I mean, it's just crazy. And I was 1 for 2 on predictions because I said, hey, you know what? Maybe the Jerick McKinnon has just been poaching Travis Kelce's touchdown.
Oh.
So Jerick McKinnon 0, Travis Kelce 2. Is there a correlation? Probably not. But my weaker prediction was, I had a conversation this morning with an interview, and I said, hey, in the past, Patrick Mahomes, when there's trouble, when it's been his back is up against the wall and everything like that, he was either he went to Travis Kelce and he went to Tyreek Hill. Without Tyreek Hill, he has spread the football around. Well, today was pretty bad day, as far as everything that was going for the offense. I mean, with Mahomes getting hurt and having him to come in, and where's the football go? It only went to Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
So that was it. I mean, even the stuff to Kadarius Toney, those were runs.
Yeah, right.
And in most offenses, those are run plays. So I can't even necessarily say that was part of the passing game. I mean, Noah Gray had one really great play when he was running a Travis Kelce route, and he probably stole that play from Travis Kelce. So maybe Kelce should have 18 catches for 125 yards,
right?
13 catches, yeah. Which I mean, pretty much just leaves you with Juju and that Justin Watson. I mean, that was a big catch for Justin and MBS touchdown. But this was a one-dimensional passing game, and I don't necessarily think that's the fault of any of the other receivers. I honestly think it's just because Travis Kelce is pretty freaking great.
Yeah. And also because it did seem like the offense was at least a little bit sped up post-injury because Patrick Mahomes was not as mobile as he once was, and he was doing jump passes before and after the injury, so clearly he's still doing crazy bleep at all times. But I want to go to the running game at least a little bit because I love Isaiah Pacheco, man. I love watching him run. My great shame of the 2020 year that was before, during, and after the draft is that I really got a real anti-running back narrative around me, and I grew up on running backs. I grew up a Chiefs fan watching basically only the running back position. Not true. The running back position and the offensive line, in fact, being something to really hang your hat on for 20 years of Chiefs football. And I got to tell you, Matt, Jerick McKinnon has been a revelation, but he's doing it in different ways. Isaiah Pacheco's making me feel some things I haven't necessarily felt about a Chiefs running back in quite some time, Matt.
See, that's fascinating because, your brand image is certainly that 7-year-old Josh Brisco hated Priest Holmes for stealing Tony Gonzalez's touchdown.
Right, and then nothing could be further from the truth. I grew up on running backs and tight ends, and now I got Isaiah Pacheco and Travis Kelce together. I am finally achieving, peak me.
Yeah, and I've said it before. My little Isaiah Pacheco story that I've made up and everything is that I think Isaiah Pacheco screams "Football is life."
Yes.
Every time before he touches the football.
That's my favorite.
And today, let's just take out, for instance, the biggest play of the game, perhaps offensively, which was Pacheco taking a 0-yard gain into a 39-yard gain that kept that 98-yard touchdown drive alive. Even if you take that out, 11 carries, 56 yards. That's still 5 yards a carry.
Yep.
So even if you said, one play gave him 7.9 yards. Well, all the others he averaged over 5, and that's still really darn great too.
Yep.
A really solid performance. I mean, the only thing that, and I think it was a good thing for Pacheco, late in the game when the Chiefs were just trying to run out the clock, they put McKinnon in and they're going to close it. And one day that will be Isaiah Pacheco.
Yep.
But this year, hey, he's had a few football security issues. Right now, let's not destroy his confidence or create any issues. Go ahead and use McKinnon in those situations, because if Pacheco is just going to go out and pound out 12 carries for 95 yards the rest of the game, so be it.
Right before we called you, I was on the soapbox talking about the youngest members of this defense, and particularly the corners. We've talked the last 3 weeks, at least a little bit here and there, about what the defenses look like in terms of it feeling more aggressive, like they're playing on the balls of their feet instead of their heels, or coming in and seeing what these corners are doing, just hitting dudes in the flat, or after a completion, there are very, very rarely is there a frustrating amount of yards after the catch, unless it's like that busted play to Evan Ingram, but like, unless you're playing the Bengals, basically, if you catch a pass in front of L'Jarius Sneed, Trent McDuffie, Jalen Watson, even at times this season, Joshua Williams, if you catch a pass in front of those guys, they're not bringing you down at their first point of contact, or at least mucking it up for long enough for others to come in and help clean it up. That, to me, also has been just a joy to watch that development. And it happened again today. It looked legitimate again to me today. What have you seen from particularly that young group of DBs?
Yeah, and and I'm reminded of one of my favorite lines from today, which came from the legend that sits next to me in the press box, Adam Teicher.
Yes.
When I can't remember who it was, but L'Jarius Sneed blew up the screenplay on the left side in the fourth quarter and just tore the play apart. And Teicher said, "Who's that?" And I said, "It was Sneed." And he goes, "Of course it was."
Yep.
I mean, that's what L'Jarius Sneed does. I mean, he's just one of the hardest hitting, nastiest tacklers that are out there. Jalen Watson had the one-handed freaking interception.
Unreal.
Brian Cook even, I mean, he's had his aggression cost him a couple of times with some penalties this year, but I guarantee you, in the future, that aggression is going to create turnovers, because that's just the kind of guy that Brian Cook is. He's going to blow people up. And Trent McDuffie is not, he's not out there playing like a rookie in his first postseason. Yep. He looks like a veteran out there. It is huge. Now, of course, that leads to some problems, which we have seen with young guys on special teams.
Mm-hmm.
But defensively, no. I mean, the reason why the Chiefs went with the youth movement, because they knew from last year, especially what happened to them against the Bengals, they needed to get younger and faster on defense. We're going to probably find out. I mean, next week, whether it's the Bengals or the Bills, we're going to find out if this past year's draft paid off, because this draft was all about beating the Bills and the Bengals defensively.
Okay, well, I'll ask you a question that I had asked to me earlier this week, and then by the beginning of the question, I had one answer. By the end of the question, I had a different answer, which is, who should the Chiefs be rooting for tomorrow?
I'm very conflicted on that question, because personally, I don't want to go to Atlanta. I'd rather stay home next weekend and cover a game. So the Bengals. Yep. But I tell you what, I mean, from talking to the players after the game, and certainly most of the players were certainly towing the company line. Doesn't matter where we play. We play in a parking lot. Whatever it happens, so be it. I got the sense, between the lines from some, that I think they want the Bengals. I don't think it's because they want to stay home. I think it's because they want to beat those guys. Buffalo, it's been, hey, Buffalo, you can have the regular season. Chiefs, you can have the postseason. I mean, if they beat the Bills, so what? They beat the Bills in the postseason, it seems like, all the time. The Bengals have had their number, and I think this team, they want the challenge. I mean, certainly they want to win a Super Bowl, and if you told them that the road to the Super Bowl was easier by beating Buffalo, I think they would say, we don't want it easier. We want to beat the Bengals. I mean, that's what's going to mean something. I think they want Cincinnati. I mean, I really think they do, and I think they would be a more motivated and a more focused team against Cincinnati, because those guys have their number.
Matt, I'm glad we have your number, because otherwise getting you on this show every weekend would really be a difficulty. And I hope, for at least your sake, and really I hope for all the listeners' sake, I hope we're talking to you from Arrowhead again next week. But if it's got to be from Atlanta or however that plays out, regardless, we'll look forward to the next conversation and the chatting with you on Friday on The Zone. Appreciate your time, as always. Glad we have at least one more game to do this.
And if I have to talk to you from a dirty, stinking couch in a bar in Atlanta, stadium, I'll find that couch for you.
I had no doubt whatsoever. Thank you, Matt.
Take care, Joshua.
Matt Derrick of Chiefs Digest, brought to you by Shamrock Roofing and Construction. One call does it all. That's at Shamrock Roofing and Construction. Matt Derrick, again, of ChiefsDigest.com. You can follow him on Twitter at Matt Derrick as well. Looking forward to seeing what goes up on Chiefs Digest very shortly to see where he ends up going with all the elements we just sifted through of tonight's game, which will certainly include quotes from the coach and the quarterback, Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. We'll hear from them next on the Sports Radio 810 WHB Postgame Show, brought to you by CBD American Shaman.
You're listening to exclusive postgame coverage on Kansas City's home for the NFL, Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Brought to you by Casey's own CBD American Shaman. Come on into your local shaman store for a free sample of stress-sacking CBD. Everything is better with the feather.
The NFL playoffs are coming to Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Touchdown! Kelsey down the near sideline.
Your home for the NFL playoffs and live coverage from Arizona of Super Bowl 57. Sports Radio 810 WHB.
NFL playoff coverage is brought to you by Shamrock Roofing and Construction, by the new Barstool Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino, by Marine Sales Lake Viking, and by Worth Harley-Davidson.
Possibilities is here to open up doors for individuals with developmental disabilities. Katie's been coming here for a couple of years, and her last job experience left her with some anxiety and really just lacked self-confidence to go out to the job market. Because Subaru of Olathe funded 1,200 working hours for our students at local events, Katie gained her self-confidence and now has a new job that she loves.
Seeing the impact this partnership has made on students like Katie is amazing. It's been wonderful teaming up with Possibilities, and we look forward to the continued partnership.
When you want Chiefs, follow the leader. Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Obviously, the environment and the atmosphere we're going to play in is one of, if not the best in the NFL.
I always do when I play at Arrowhead. I always come out of that tunnel, I'm a little hyped up. I got to be that leader that controls my emotions and goes out there and can be calm, but I still have the energy to lead the team.
Your home for the NFL. Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Guys, it's time to address that post-holiday weight gain. For 810 listeners only, Regain Functional Medicine is offering $500 off our Physique Body Contouring Package, which melts fat and builds muscle in the same treatment session, and $100 off Regain's compounded Wegovy injections, the healthy way of suppressing your appetite and dealing with your sugar cravings. Ask us about our TRT treatments, too. Come visit Regain at one of our 2 locations in Leawood or Lawrence, or our website at ifeelmuchbetter.com.
Looking to buy a new boat to cruise around the lake this summer? Marine Sales Lake Viking is coming to town and are bringing the top brands in the industry. Come take a look at their new and used Cobalt, Barletta, and Yamaha models, all at special event-only pricing. Marine Sales Lake Viking will be at Harris Casino Ballroom on January 28th and 29th. No entry fee, free parking, and the best boats in the industry without the boat show hassles. Get more info at lakevikingmarine.com.
The second you walk through those iconic red doors, you know you're somewhere special. Fresh cut wood burning in the wood-fired grill and the sizzle of Scratch Kitchen ingredients fills your senses. Whether you want legendary pretzel bites, famous jalapeno fried chicken, or to grab a burger and beer while you watch the game, there's an unforgettable energy that keeps you coming back to Red Door Wood-Fired Grill, Kansas City's best little upscale neighborhood joint. 6 Kansas City area locations: Brookside, Leawood, Liberty, Overland Park, Lenexa, and now Lee Summit. Get in here.
Not everyone can climb a ladder or spend all day on an uneven surface climbing to new heights. That's why God created a roofer, someone who gets up before the morning light, works all day in the hot sun or bitter wind, and still makes it home in time to catch the kids' ball game. That's why God created a roofer, the kind of person who is most at home with a hammer in their hand and love in their heart. They believe that a team can do just about anything. That's a Shamrock roofer.
For more than 60 years, Regal Distributing has been helping customers grow their business by providing food service and professional cleaning supplies to a variety of industries. Regal can help you improve your efficiency and reduce your costs to improve your overall quality. And with Regal, you'll find consistently excellent customer service. To learn more, check out Regal Distributing. National reach with a local touch. Go to getregal.com. That's getregal.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
I'm attorney Mike DePasquale. After a car wreck, the last thing you want to do is trust the insurance company. These insurance companies try to rip off good people every single day. My law firm won't let you get ripped off. We'll fight to get you all the money you deserve, and you don't pay us a dime unless we win your case. If you've been hurt, call me. I've got this.
Mike's got this. All you need to know, 816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Violent crimes are up over 30% across the United States from just 1 year ago. There's a child reported missing every 40 seconds in the United States, and over 50 million people in the U.S. are experiencing a mental health crisis. It's time to do something about it. Safer, the world's first social protection application. Once you have the app, you just hit the Safer button or say your safer word and instantly alert all your friends, family, and anyone within 1,000 feet that has the app that you're not feeling safe and may need help. Go to 810WHB.com and hit the Safer link to receive over 50% off.
Your home for the NFL playoffs and live coverage from Arizona of Super Bowl 57. Sports Radio 810 WHB, Kansas City.
First and goal, pass, far sideline, leaping catch, Agnew, but he dropped the ball. May have fumbled it after the catch on a leaping grab at the 5. Cut inside, fumble, and the Chiefs have recovered. The Chiefs have recovered. The Jacksonville fumble at the 4. Agnew fumbles it after a leaping grab, began to cut, goes inside. A player for the Chiefs is down. L'Jarius Sneed on his back.
Two pieces of good news to report on that clip. One is that L'Jarius Sneed ultimately walked off on his own power, returned, and did play in the game again. And we heard just from some of the other pressers maybe that he had a bloody nose at some of that. Maybe it may have been unrelated to that one. I'm not sure. And I'm guessing we'll hear the injury update from that from Andy Reid here in mere moments. But good news there that Sneed was ultimately okay, and good news that the Chiefs took the football there. That was first and goal from the 9. It was nearly a walk-in moment there for Jamal Agnew, who had such a good return, a Harrison Butker helmet away, perhaps, from just housing that at the time. If the touchdown would have been returned there, suddenly we're talking about a, 3-point game? Yeah, it would have been 3. Yeah, it was 27-17 at that point. And obviously the Chiefs didn't score again. They didn't need to score again, but if Agnew returns that touchdown or scores on that play that you just heard, and really, not to pile on, but he just dropped it. He had it, secured it, and dropped it again somewhere in transition. Very, very close on 2 separate occasions of Agnew really putting the pressure on a Chiefs offense that didn't get much done after that point.
It's a good thing that Harrison Butker went to the Nick Bolton School of Tackling.
It's a tackle machine. Look, Beards, I don't think Nick Bolton's tackles come 45 yards down the line of scrimmage. From the point of initial possession. That's unfair. By you, noted Nick Bolton hater, Beards McFly. With that being said, let's start with the injury front from Andy Reid. I imagine, were there any real injuries? Did anybody get hurt in this game? Sneed, we talked about. I think everybody else is in pretty good shape. We'll start hearing that.
Jags pride.
There was definitely some Jag pride.
Agnew's dignity.
Yeah, that wasn't very good for him, probably. Mahomes get rolled up on or something. Shook it off, rubbed some dirt on it. We'll hear the injury update here.
Shanahan hurt his back carrying the team.
Had 3 or 4 just there that I really tried to figure out if I could go ahead and PG that one, and I couldn't. So I'm just going to, there's one out there that...
That was my PG one. I had something else.
Yep, me too. Have you ever... Look, I'm not going to make the joke that we can't make. I'm just going to say, have you ever tried to carry 2 massive boulders 98 yards?
Andy Reid is presented by Robert Brogdon Buick GMC and Robert Brogdon's Olathe Kia. Visit BrogdonAutomotive.com.
We'll start from the top here with Andy Reid, his opening statement after the Chiefs punched their ticket to their 5th consecutive AFC Championship game.
Okay, good seeing everybody. Really injuries, Pat obviously tweaked his ankle. L'Jarius Sneed hurt his nose. Pat was able to he came in, got X-rays, everything done, and then was able to come back in. And then Legarius did the same thing. He was able to make sure the thing was set and in a good position and came back in. So all in all, heck of a game. We appreciate the fans, and they were incredible. I thought both sides of the ball and special teams did a nice job tonight. Special teams was against one of the best teams in the league, special teams wise. Pro Bowl returner, and that last punt was a beautiful thing. Bucker, I very seldom start with special teams, but Bucker kicked the ball well, and he also tackled well. So that was a big tackle. And then offensively, I thought the guys, I thought the whole group played well. It was great to see Chad come in that backup role, and I thought everybody kind of stepped their game up and had so much confidence in Chad, and he executed. But I thought everybody around him did a nice job too. And then Pacheco with 95 yards or whatever he had there, I thought he did a tremendous job running the ball. Kendrick, likewise, he did a nice job too. So, and then Kelsey, every time I stand up here, I feel like he breaks another record. So he broke some record, and then he also had 98 yards and 2 TDs and did a great job there. Defensively, listen, my hat goes off to the defense. You can't move forward in the NFL playoffs if your defense doesn't play well. And I thought from the DBs to the defensive line to the linebackers, I thought everybody was flying around making plays, and again, my hat goes off to the guys for that. They were incredible on third downs, first, second downs. Just played a great game all the way around. My hat goes off to Spags and EB and Tobe for the jobs that they did, and the coaches. I wanted to mention Tony in the mix there too. I thought he had some nice plays for us, being kind of the new kid on the block. He had some nice plays. Our young DBs, again, stepping up. Watson with the interception. I mean, what a great job. The 2 turnovers were obviously huge for us, and great team win. So that time's yours.
It was a great team win. You can tell by all the names that Andy Reid said right there, from Harrison Butker's kicking and tackling to Kadarius Toney, and we heard from Travis Kelce earlier that I think Andy Reid and Travis Kelce are both very grateful for each other, as they both should be, as we all should be. The main story here, of course, lots of follow-ups and the whole back and forth here. Andy Reid's side of the perspective of what it was like when Patrick Mahomes went down and how difficult it was to get him out of the game, ultimately getting him to the locker room, and how that all panned out.
Well, it was hard getting him out of the game, first of all. He wanted to fight, and so we got him out, went to the x-ray, got an x-ray, looked at, taped. He came back, and he said he felt good enough to be protected, where he's not going to get hurt. That's obviously the primary thing. And he felt like his mobility was good enough where he could do that. So we did a few little things with him on the sideline to see where he was at, put him in, and it was a short leash. So if I felt like he wasn't able to handle it, he would have been out and back in Henny. So.
Do you feel like that affected it in any way in the second half, the injury?
It didn't look like it, but I thought he did a pretty good job.
When you put him back, when he goes back in, does that change up what you want to do offensively, or is it just keep it?
Yeah, we basically kept everything the same. We just kept it going. What we were doing before. So,
I mean, they definitely had to adjust to that. You could hear the long pause there from Andy Reid on, did it change did it affect him coming back post-injury? Andy Reid doesn't want to say yeah, because he never answers questions like that straightforwardly. We all saw it. Of course it affected him, and they were still able to do enough with it. Pretty cool. Heck of an evening. Here's Andy Reid here's a question worth noting. What's Patrick Mahomes' injury status for next week as of right now?
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I don't want to jump to things right now, but let's just see how it goes here the next couple days. It's going to be sore, I know. But let's see where he's at. He's had this before, and he was able to keep pushing through. Actually, against Jacksonville, a couple of years ago, same type of deal. So he pushed through that. The main thing is that he's safe. I mean, that's or as safe as you can be on a football field. So, that's the important thing.
I wouldn't read too much into that. He came back into play. If Patrick Mahomes can stand, I think it seems pretty evident that he's going to do everything possible to play. Andy Reid's just not going to rule a guy out or rule a guy in on Saturday for the next Sunday. I would just be floored beyond words if Patrick Mahomes isn't out there in that game on Sunday. I'm going to be curious to see if he's a full or limited participant and stuff this week. I'd be happy to go ahead and let him take some time off and do whatever they got to do to make that the best cared for ankle in the history of the planet. I imagine it probably will be, and we'll see where we arrive when the injury reports start next week. Let's go back to the game itself here, though. Andy Reid talking about the close game versus the Jags and their improvement under Doug Peterson.
Yeah, when you start doing, and you guys do this, when you start doing the studies on this game, this round right here, these games are one-score games normally. So, it's a high percentage, and so you buckle it up for 4 quarters, and you know it's going to come to. I will tell you, I think Doug's done a phenomenal job. Their team is better than they were when they played us before, and the sky's the limit for them. I mean, they're young, and they believe in what they're being taught, and they play hard. And they're well coached.
All of that is true. I continue to be a believer in the Jags. I am way more bullish on them than I am any other team in the AFC South by a pretty large margin right now. We could see some coaching changes, in a couple of spots, but it just seems like the Jags are clearly on the right track. Great comeback last week against the Chargers. Gave the Chiefs a handful in this game tonight. On the right track, not quite where the Chiefs are at, which is okay with me. Here again from Mahomes from Reid about the mobility of the ankle and if that ended up affecting play calling.
I'm having a hard time placing that drive right now with Yeah, so that was one to answer Adam's question about mobility. I mean, he did a nice job on that, having to move around and make that throw. There were so many good plays within the mix there of everything that was going on. I'm blending all the plays, but that's all right.
Me too, man. I get it. It was a heck of a game, and we're not that far removed, and he was even less far removed from it at the time. So it had to affect him. It was affecting him. That was obvious. The Chiefs just had to try to make the best of it with what they did there, and it was good enough, which we can take. Back to the quarterback position, but the guy that came in for Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid talked a little bit about the team trusting Chad Henne to come in and handle his business.
The best thing about that right here was everybody trusted Chad. That's the best part. That's the way he handles himself. And the confidence the guys have in him. I thought they all stepped up. The O-line did a nice job. Chad did a nice job getting the ball out on time, and the O-line did a nice job. The run game, Pacheco had the long run. It was beautiful. They blitzed on it, and he kind of got bumped back and kept going like he does, and put together a nice run, nice drive on the whole thing. But Chad, the guys love Chad, and they play for him. So it was a great deal.
That is something that I just don't know that you can take for granted in terms of like what a team is able to do in a moment like that. Like, again, mentioning even the Jags come back again last week, just rallying around the quarterback and believing in that guy going forward is a big deal. Seeing Chad Henne come in and do that, trusting your old backup to handle it all is a big deal. Adam Schefter has some breaking news here.
I was just about to say that.
I could tell you were, but I have TweetDeck open on my laptop, so I was ready for it anyway.
Here.
Do you want to read it or want me to read it?
You can go ahead.
Adam Schefter tweets, Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes will undergo an MRI on Sunday to gain further clarity on the ankle injury he suffered during Saturday's divisional playoff win over the Jaguars. Per source, initial x-rays on Mahomes' ankle were negative. no world-breaking news there. MRI tomorrow makes a lot of sense. It sounds like he'll probably get some treatment tonight and kind of figure out what's going on there as much as he can. But the MRI tomorrow will determine the exact extent of what's going on in there. The issue is that if it's a high ankle sprain, that usually knocks guys out for a little bit. And the fact that the x-rays were negative and he was out there playing football in the second half, I know that is pain medication, and I know that is adrenaline, and I know that if his ankle gets worse and stiffens up over the course of the week, that really could put next week in jeopardy. I still have a very, very hard time imagining the Chiefs taking the field without 15 next week. Even with all that trust for Chad Henne being a real thing, which is great to have, would like to see 15 out there. Here's Andy Reid on the pass catchers again, specifically the wide receivers. A lot of those guys into the game with just one catch, but Mahomes was spreading the ball around all of them.
Yeah, everybody contributed. Marquez, we had a few plays for Marquez, and they did a good job rolling the coverage that direction, and he didn't hang his head. He just kept battling and ends up with a big touchdown for us. But you could say that about Juju. Juju went through the game, comes up with a huge catch on the sideline there. And Pat had a tremendous amount of trust in him to throw the back shoulder throw.
And also, how does the team respond after the injury that Patrick Mahomes suffered? Andy Reid had at least his perspective on where they went from there.
Yeah, I'd probably tell you, the guys were, they're very protective, particularly the offensive line in general. And so, they were hooting and hollering about that, that nobody touches a quarterback.
Hooting and hollering about that? Hooting and hollering. Can't have one without the other, I don't think, right? And then here, I saw Curtis Seabolt tweet about this as it was happening. I haven't gotten to hear it yet, obviously, as Todd Lebo got in and apparently had a little banter with Andy Reid. Looking forward to hearing what that is exactly. Lebo asking what it was like trying to talk Mahomes into getting that x-ray and then ultimately waiting until after the half to run him back out there.
Wait. Kind of take us into that conversation where it didn't really look like you wanted to go back and get the x-ray for cameras. What was that conversation like?
It would be like me trying to ask you not to ask a question. No, listen, he's a tough kid, and so he wanted to be in there. He wanted to be competing, and that's, it's a tribute to him and his competitiveness. However, you got to make sure he's okay, physically okay, where he can protect himself. And if he can't, then he can't play. You have to go with the next guy. But he's a tough nut, and he's very. When I tell you he's competitive, he's very, very competitive.
Todd Lebo, Patrick Mahomes cannot be told to not do their job. If Lebo showed up limping as much as Patrick Mahomes was in that game where he had, a bunch of large, violent football players trying to break his ankles, I'd be concerned about Lebo doing radio in that state. But I believe that he would have been right out there throwing his jacket, saying, "No, you will not bring Chad Henne in." Ultimately, the Chiefs managed that well enough to get Mahomes back in, and it seems like Mahomes ultimately did what needed to happen. Everybody's good. Last thing here from Andy Reid on the quarterback position and who the third quarterback option was after Henne today.
Yeah, we've got a couple guys there that have played quarterback in college. Number one's one of them, so he would have been probably number one up.
He said that just a guy that played quarterback in college. Is that what he said? Is that
Yes.
Jerick McKinnon?
Yes.
That's the implication, right?
Yes.
Okay. Did he say number one?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I was the last person to understand what Andy Reid was saying there. I missed that he said number one, which is McKinnon. That would have, that could have been kind of fun. That would be kind of fun to see in a preseason game or something. It would not have been fun to see tonight.
You wouldn't have enjoyed that?
Probably not. But the real crazy thing about Andy Reid and Eric Bieniemy and this coaching staff and all of that is that he probably would have had a better night than Daniel Jones is having. and I'm only being like 45% facetious, I think.
So, Jerick McKinnon, let's see if I can get his college stats pulled up, if there are any for his passing.
I also want to find this. Those Christmas bells?
Playing Cookie Clicker.
Do you have Jerick McKinnon's stats or not?
I don't.
All right, then don't worry about it. I'm on the
Pro Football Reference college version is failing me.
Okay, I'm on the Georgia Southern. Here we go. Georgia Southern's website, Jerick McKinnon, position QB, stats. I think this is his senior year here. He he wasn't passing that much in the senior. Maybe he moved. Maybe he started playing running back more than passing stats. 2012, he had 20 completions for 49 yards, 3 picks, 7 touchdowns.
For his career, he was only really quarterback for 3 years. He finished with 42 touchdowns, 4,138 all-purpose yards, only behind Adrian Peterson. So that's pretty good.
31 completions on 72 attempts. Not the efficiency you'd like to see.
Not ideal. I mean, he didn't have Andy Reid, though.
It's a run for exactly.
He didn't have Travis Kelce.
It was still a run-first offense. I mean, that's exactly right. Let him have Andy Reid and Travis Kelce, and I could throw for 100 yards maybe. Give me Kadarius Toney, and I think I could throw for 150. Here's my motion. Ready? Hut. Receive the snap. Pop the snap. Let a fast guy run in front of me and take it out of thin air. Boom. Technically, I'm passing. Then I would be passing in the more like leaving this mortal coil sense as soon as the Jags' Josh Allen decleated me. That's how that would work. Anyway, the Sports Radio 810 WHB Postgame Show. Joshua Brisco and Beers McFly here with you. And it's time to hear from the man himself. Patrick Mahomes started this game on absolute fire.
He was on one.
On one. We were losing it. We were like, it's going to be one of those games. Cool. All right. There's going to be one of those games where Patrick Mahomes just does crazy. What?
I was having Texans flashbacks. The
good
Texans
ones.
Game.
Good Texans flashbacks. It was going to be one of those games. And then it became one of those games. And then it became one of those games. We heard from Patrick Mahomes' press conference brought to you by Xfinity.
Patrick Mahomes' press conference brought to you by Xfinity. Xfinity Internet. Stay connected with Wi-Fi coverage that delivers the speed, reliability, and coverage you need. Can your internet do that?
We start from the top with the headlines here with Patrick Mahomes asking about his sideline conversation with the trainers and his current status.
Yeah, I obviously didn't want to go back and see it. I didn't want to go get the x-rays or whatever it was. I wanted just to continue to play. I told him I would do it at halftime, but Coach, in the best interest of me, he made me go back there and get that x-ray before he put me back in the game. And for a while, I thought I could get and play through it. And then he said, "I'm not putting you back in, so you might as well go get the x-ray. And then if it's negative or whatever, I'll put you back in." So I ran back there, got the x-ray, and was able to play, finish the game.
How are you feeling now? After the game's over, how's the ankle feeling now?
I was just talking to him. It feels better. It feels better than I thought it was going to be now. Obviously, I have a lot of adrenaline going right now, so we'll see how it feels. But I'll hop right into treatment tonight and try to do whatever I can to be as close to 100% by next week. But luckily for us, we played the early game on Saturday, so we get an extra almost half a day that I can let that ankle rest.
Okay, so there you go. You get the sideline conversation with a little more detail than Andy Reid gave. He says, hey, I'm not putting you back out there, so you might as well go get the x-ray. And then if it's negative, you can go back out there again. Some real good parenting there from Andy Reid. But it's like, well, look, I'm not giving you a cookie, so you might as well go clean your room in the meantime. And if you clean your room and you get back and you're still hungry, you can have a cookie. I don't have kids, which is for the best, given that being the best that I could do for an example of parenting. But that is fascinating, man. Genuinely fascinating. just how that whole scene played out that way. And feeling better towards the end of the night. Again, I wonder, that was a little bit ago. I wonder how he's feeling right this second. Getting treatment tonight seems like a good thing. Get a jump start on it, try to figure out what's going on there. And now we know the report. They'll get the MRI tomorrow. Really interesting stuff there from Patrick Mahomes. Here's Mahomes talking about Chad Henne coming in afterwards and getting the job done in his absence.
I mean, it's special, man. He's in the playoffs. He doesn't get any reps during the week. And he prepares himself to be able to go in for stuff like that. And he got a 98-yard drive backed up, a playoff game against a great opponent, and be able to drive the ball down the field, make some big throws versus some pressure looks. I mean, they brought some heat whenever he came in the game. And he made some big throws and was able to get us into the end zone. And that was a big point in the game because that gave me the ability to kind of come back and rest and wait till halftime until we kind of retaped and did everything we could to get me ready to go in the second half.
So he's talking about retaped and getting ready for the second half. Here he is talking about what exactly that mid-game treatment process looked like.
No real treatment. You don't have time to get treatment and stuff like that. But, I mean, you just put the spat on, get it tight, try to keep the swelling down, and then go out there and play. And they made me do a couple things in the locker room to show that I could move and protect myself if everything kind of pressure came, whatever it was. And, I mean, credit to the team. Offensive line did a great job in that second half protecting me. I got the ball in my hands quickly, and guys made plays. But it's a team sport for a reason, and guys stepped up around me.
It'll be interesting to see next week if they're able to have long developing plays and routes and everything that might put him at a little more risk, or at least to a point where he's not able to be as mobile as we see him be in so many of those highlight plays. Maybe it's a brief look at what his game might look like in 10 years. I don't know. As long as he can throw off his back foot more than he could tonight, I think he'll be pretty freaking good at football still in 10 years. But with that being said, an interesting adaptation to have to make, and curious what he thought about how he did have to adapt to the injury mid-game.
Yeah, you just got to be a competitor at the end of the day. I mean, not all things are going to be perfect. You have to find a way to make stuff happen. Obviously, I missed some throws I probably think I could have made if I would have been in the right foot position, but luckily for me, I'm not in the right foot position all the time, so I'm able to make some throws like that anyways.
There you go. Some wonky footwork. I think Collinsworth mentioned this on the broadcast. Some wonky footwork pays off when you've only got your front foot. That's so silly, man. It's just, he's got an answer for everything. Although I don't know what you can do other than just sort of be tough and wait for the game to be over when it comes to playing through pain. Here's Mahomes on that issue.
I mean, I'm not coming out of a playoff game unless they take me out, and so I'm just going to play. I love this sport too much. I love this game. I love playing with my teammates and being able to go out there and enjoy it together. And we prepare all year to be in the playoffs and to play in these games. And I'm glad that I was able to get back in the game. And I mean, it's something that I just love competing in this sport. And pain is pain, and you have to deal with it either way.
And also, I don't know how the game would have panned out if it was all Chad Henne from that moment on. I definitely think the Chiefs could have won that game. I definitely think the Chiefs could have lost that game. But Mahomes came back, the Chiefs won, and they're now going to their 5th consecutive AFC Championship game. Here's Mahomes on that fact.
Yeah, I mean, it's a credit to the team I have around me, the coaches I have around me, and the organization in general. I mean, we prepare ourselves every year from training camp in St. Joe's, Missouri to be here, but it takes a day-by-day process, and I think the coaches preach that, the players do that, and the organization around us supports us in that mission. And so we just try to do whatever we can to be in this position to get to this AFC Championship game, and then now we'll find a way to get to the Super Bowl, and that's going to take a great week of preparation and practice.
It's already about prep and practice. Dude's a pro. What was it like, though, for him? You mentioned the mechanics and the fact that he doesn't always have to push off that foot anyway, but what was the difference like throwing with that injured foot?
There was just a couple throws here and there where I tried to plant off that foot, and it didn't let me kind of plant like I usually do, and so a couple throws I didn't make. I told Coach I want to still throw it downfield, and so we were able to make some throws there after the first few drives, and I think he got a little confidence that I could protect myself. And so credit to our defense, man, holding us in that game, especially after the start of that second half when I wasn't able to get stuff going. So they held us in that game, made some big plays at the end, and we were able to score enough points to win.
What was it like, though, in the locker room at halftime? Were there any nerves as he was waiting on the X-ray results?
Yeah, pretty nervous moments, man. I always pray whenever stuff like that comes around, man, and just, it's all in God's hands at the end of the day, and I just have to accept whatever it is and turn it into a positive. And so, luckily for me, he blessed me to keep me injury-free as far as breaks or anything like that. And so now, how can I prepare my body to be ready to go next week? And I'll start that tonight, and that process will be tough, but I'll be ready to go.
There you go. Hey, I'll be ready to go is a lot more direct than Andy Reid was willing to give him. I believe that, again, could change if there's bad news on the MRI and if tomorrow he wakes up with concrete in his foot. But less than that, that's heading in the right direction. So I'll take it. He, of course, has a lot to look for in the games tomorrow because they know they're advancing and they know that they'll be playing the winner of Bills-Bengals. Mahomes was asked if he will be tuning in live tomorrow.
Yeah, well, I'll be watching the game for sure. Playoff football is the best time of the year, man. Just to be able to watch that, and so I'll get the treatment and stuff like that. But the family's going to have to wait for a while because I'll be getting that stuff done.
And then what was it like, again, back in the locker room getting the X-ray? Was Mahomes able to keep an eye on the game?
Oh, no, they don't ever show the TV, man. I've been back there. The divisional round whenever the Browns game when Chad was playing, I didn't get to see any of that until the last drive. And so they do a good job of not having the TVs going in there so that I have to focus on myself and getting myself better more than focusing on the game.
It's like putting blinders on a horse. You gotta, hey, no, don't look at the screen. Don't try to force your way out there. Let's just X-ray your ankle, and we'll try to get you back out there, Pat. A funny scene. In retrospect, it's funny now. I'm guessing it wasn't super humorous at the time. I wasn't having a lot of fun at the time. But now, it's kind of funny. We talked about Travis Kelce a good amount tonight. He received more than half of the passing game's completions between Mahomes and Chad Henne. Here's Mahomes talking about 87.
Yeah, man, it's another guy that just steps up, man. It seems like he gets better and better in the playoffs as you get further and further in there. And you need those type of guys. And he did a great job of making some tough contested catches. And he's special, man. He's a special player, one-of-a-kind player. That's one of the main reasons that we've been able to be in this position so many times.
There really is just a special, if you'll forgive the turn of phrase, a special holy trinity of football that the Chiefs have with Mahomes, Andy Reid, and Travis Kelce. Not just that they're all excellent and arguably the best quarterback, tight end, and at least offensive mind of their eras, if not, as of right now or what. I mean, you could extend the superlatives a very long distance for any of those three. But those three guys are all on the same team. They're all feeding into each other's greatness. Patrick Mahomes, I think, would have been great if he would have been drafted by the Texans and that backwards lost organization. If Travis Kelce would have gone somewhere else, I'm guessing he would have been a tremendous player. If Andy Reid would have gone some other than Kansas City, I bet he would have made several returns back to the playoffs. Did it with Alex Smith, obviously, who had Travis Kelce. But those three guys being on these teams that they have shared together, it's just outrageous. Just an outrageous trilogy of Hall of Fame talent at three incredibly important positions. Here Mahomes talks about another member of that pass-catching core, and on that final drive, the touchdown to Marquez Valdes-Scantling.
Yeah, no, it was a good job by everybody. I think everybody had a part in that drive. Everybody was making plays. And that's what championship teams do, is that whenever stuff's not going their way and the game gets tight, how are you going to respond? And I went down, I kind of jumped and landed on the same ankle, but I had to find a way to get the ball in the end zone, and Marquez was there, and I needed to make the throw. And he stepped up and made a big play there at the end of the game to win it.
I can't remember if he's saying that, because I kind of thought he did jump off of his injured ankle on that throw initially. It may have been the off ankle, and he's just saying that he hopped and landed on the same way. The point to me is that he was moving like a pogo stick for a significant amount of that game. One of those handoffs to Jerick McKinnon where the broadcast slowed down and showed, hey, he basically, cut off one of McKinnon's options because he didn't get there as quickly as he usually would. After the handoff, he literally stayed. I mean, he was just plant left foot, hop left foot again. He was not even, couldn't even go right left at that point anymore, and still enough to get it done because the dude might be an alien. Here he was asked, I guess I wouldn't have been surprised by this. I'm guessing if this is the question, he wasn't surprised by this, but if he was surprised at all that the Jags kept it close?
Yeah, I mean, I never think any playoff game is going to be easy. I mean, teams are here for a reason. And even if they are surprised in a sense or whatever it is, they're here for a reason. They have the confidence that's going to be a great game. If you look at Wild Card Weekend or really the playoffs in general the last few years, every game seems like it's a one-score game. And so we came with the mentality that we were going to have to play to the very end. And obviously we had some adversity through there with some injuries and stuff like that. But I was proud of how the guys responded and were able to figure out a way to get the win.
Last one here from Patrick Mahomes about the urgency to get back into the game after he went down with that injury.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you want to play. I mean, you just want to play because you've built that time from St. Joe. You've spent this time with your teammates and built up for this moment, and so you don't want to let guys down or whatever it is. You want to be in the game and be able to go out there and show off what you've worked for. But I don't think it really was anything for the team because the team has so much belief in Chad, and he's done it before. He's won divisional games by coming in and playing. And so they have so much belief in Chad, and you saw in that 98-yard drive. He ran the offense the way the offense is supposed to be ran. He threw it to the right guys, and guys stepped up and made plays. And so that's what a great team does. It's not about one guy. It's about the whole team.
It was a team effort. It really, really was. Multiple quarterbacks, a lot of pass catchers, a bunch of running backs, and a whole group of defenders playing some really good football. That was enough to get the Chiefs to a 27-20 victory over the Jacksonville Jaguars to punch their ticket to their 5th consecutive AFC Championship game. We'll take one more time out here on the Sports Radio 810 WHB Postgame Show. We will probably still get you a little bit of Giants-Eagles before the night's out, but that game is pretty close to wrapped up. The Giants just had a real sort of surrendering feeling kind of punt. So when we come back, we will hear from Jaguars head coach and former Chiefs offensive coordinator Doug Peterson. That's next here on the Sports Radio 810 WHB Postgame Show.
You're listening to exclusive postgame coverage on Kansas City's home for the NFL. Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Brought to you by Casey's Own CBD American Shaman. Come on into your local shaman store for a free sample of stress-sacking CBD. Everything is better with the feather.
Howdy, folks. It's your favorite farmer, Tim Hare with Greengrass Cattle Company in Weston, Missouri. Gatherings with your family and friends, playoff football, college basketball, man, what could be better? How about pairing those high-quality experiences with high-quality meats? Ribeyes, KC strips, tenderloins, tri-tip, ground beef, brats, you name it, we've got it at Greengrass Cattle Company. We've partnered with our friends at J. Rieger & Company to take all of their spent grains from the distilling process and mix with our hay to feed to our cows on a daily basis. It's a great partnership for the both of us because it cuts down on waste and it gives our cattle extra nutrients and a taste that they love. Want to stretch your dollar a bit further? Check out our bundle packages of beef. We have family bundles and we'll be releasing new bundle packages as well. We have a cut of beef for every budget and it will always leave you wanting more. Check out our social media at Greengrass Cattle Co. to learn more about our upcoming events and classes. We're also selling outside of Front Range Coffee House and Provisions. Come see us today in Weston, Missouri off 45 Highway or order online at greengrasscattleco.com.
Shop limited time deals at the Truckload event at Lowe's, happening now. Save big on your favorites across the store. During this event, get up to 50% off select tools and accessories. Plus, find the perfect floor tile for your home for less. Get up to 50% off select styles while you can. Head to your local Lowe's store or visit Lowes.com to shop the Truckload event today. Valid 12/29 through 1/25 while supplies last. Selection varies by location. See Lowes.com for details. Discount taken at time of purchase.
The divisional round of the NFL playoffs finishes with a Sunday doubleheader. Hi, this is Scott Graham. Join me and the rest of our Westwood One crew for all the action. First, Joe Burrow and the Bengals take on Josh Allen and the Bills. Then it's a classic NFC showdown when the Dallas Cowboys meet the San Francisco 49ers. Coverage begins at 2:30 p.m. Eastern. From the wild card round all the way to Super Bowl 57 in Arizona, the NFL playoffs are right here.
Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Steve Connolly here with Connolly Plumbing Solutions, your neighborhood plumber. We started Connolly Plumbing Solutions in 2012, and we are a mom and pop plumbing shop. We work by appointment and schedule in 2-hour time blocks, and we always show up. It's these little details that really make a difference. So next time you are in need of a plumber, we would be honored if you'd give us the chance to win you over. Call 913-768-7676 or visit ConnollyPlumbingSolutions.com.
Looking to buy a new boat to cruise around the lake this summer? Marine Sales Lake Viking is coming to town and are bringing the top brands in the industry. Come take a look at their new and used Cobalt, Barletta, and Yamaha models, all at special event-only pricing. Marine Sales Lake Viking will be at Harris Casino Ballroom on January 28th and 29th. No entry fee, free parking, and the best boats in the industry without the boat show hassles. Get more info at lakevikingmarine.com.
Good shuffle with you. 12 catches today for Kelsey. Here's a 1st and 10 for Lawrence from his own 25. The fake handoff, and down he goes. Sacked on the play by Derrick Nottie. Got him around the shoulder pads. It's a Kansas City sack, and they throw the Jacksonville quarterback down. Sack back at his 17 in the third quarter's final play.
That was a great rep from Derrick Nottie, sending Trevor Lawrence to the turf. Wonder if he might be a little sore tomorrow. Maybe I could get Trevor Lawrence a good deal. I like the guy. I'm excited to see him play quarterback in the NFL. Want him to feel good this offseason. Maybe he could swing by CBD American Shaman. Just a quick suggestion. And hey, good news. If you do it now, or do it tomorrow, in fact, that gets you a nice little deal. Because when Kansas City scores, you score big at your local CBD American Shaman. Our team score is your percent off. They scored 27 points tonight, so you get 27% off all day tomorrow on orders of $100 or more at CBD American Shaman, because life is better with the feather. We'll hear from the man with feathered hair. Is that true, technically? I don't know. Doug Peterson's got some pretty good lettuce. Wears the visor to let it breathe. It's a stylistic choice.
Are we sure that visor is not just like a whole hat that just makes it look like a visor?
I've seen those, yeah. And Doug Peterson does look the most like a coach who might wear one of those. I think it's authentic, though, and I also think what he's building in Jacksonville is authentic. That was a couple of really real stretches for the segues, but with that being said, I do want you to have a chance to hear from the head man over there in Jacksonville. I imagine Doug Peterson's got a real bittersweet feeling about the season ending, but it ended in the divisional round of the playoffs. It was a great year for the Jags, especially when you remember where they were last year, but of course, ending in Arrowhead, probably not what he had in mind. Here's Jaguars head coach Doug Peterson.
There's got to be a fine line between the communication with the line and the backs, and we had a couple instances tonight where we just missed on that communication, and they were able to get a little pressure on the quarterback.
Doug, what was your message to the guys in the locker room just now?
Just told them I was proud of them for the season that we put together. Nobody expected us, the Jaguars, to be in this football game from the beginning of the season to today, and I just told them how proud I was of them for how they hung together all season long, how they battled, fought through a ton of adversity. And just proud of the way they kept battling all season to get to this spot, and really battling this game to come down to the, an onside kick to potentially, seeing what happens, right? And told them we were going to learn from this, we're going to grow from this, and our expectation is to be in these games every year. I mean, that's we're just that's our expectation, and this was a good first year for all of us.
What do you see from Trevor being the bounce back, obviously, from the interception at the end of the game there?
As far as, like, moving on?
Yeah, just
like in the offseason?
No,
or?
In terms of him bouncing back, able to drive the ball down for you guys to be able to kick
Oh, yeah. I mean, listen, he's learned. I mean, he's learning how to just put those plays behind him. Again, it was... we had some protection issues there and tried to get the quick ball up to Zay, and guy made a heck of a play. We had him, but guy made a great interception there. And, but he was able to shake it and come back from it, got the 3 points later, and put us in a position.
What can you say to the team afterwards to obviously the disappointment of this being, 15, 20 minutes ago is going to be the prevailing feeling, but did you in any ways try to convey to them to remember what was done over the course of this season, in the off season, instead of dwelling on this last loss for too long?
Yeah, I mean, it's not about, obviously, yeah, we're all hurting because of the loss, but we're all hurting too because this is the final game of this year, and that's the hard thing. But like I told the guys, I mean, these are the games that we're going to learn from, and we're going to be better because of. And you know, I told them, I said, just, you know, plan on every year. Let's being in these meaningful games at the end of the season. We want to be one of the 4, 5, 6 teams, you know, in the AFC every year, and our guys believe that, and you know, we still got work to do, obviously, but it's also time to heal and to get away and you know, get rejuvenated again.
Doug, did you get a sense from the guys in there that there's not anger, but sort of like what you're talking about, that there's more conviction about that than they are disappointed in today? Like they feel
Well, I mean, they're disappointed. I mean, they're disappointed. You know, with this game, felt like we had an opportunity to you know, at least tie the football game. They're late in the game, but I think they understand how good they can be. You know, some of the same ugly mistakes that showed up in this game were the things that showed up early in the season. And those are the things that we have to eliminate. Those are the things we have to, you know, move on from. In order to win against great football teams like the Chiefs are, you know, you can't make those mistakes. And so I think they're disappointed from that more than anything, and just coming up a little short.
You feel like they're close, right?
I mean, I feel like we're close. I mean, you know, obviously we got the right leader in Trevor. Feel really good about him, obviously, what he's done, how he's played this season, and you know, it's just, you know, it's a matter of with the youth of the team. You know, now these guys played a lot of football, and they're going to learn from the good and the bad, and it's something to really, I think, lean on as we head into the off season. You know, and as we approach the off-season program, you know, in a couple of months, and which is kind of crazy to say, but you know, we're going to learn. I'm excited for the future of Jacksonville, and you know, working with Trent, getting the right players in here, whether it's free agency, whether it's the draft, you know, and continuing to build our roster.
On the 98-yard touchdown that Henny directed, were you disappointed that maybe didn't become a 3-and-out where maybe you guys can get the ball in midfield and have a scoring opportunity there? And what is
Yeah, I mean, that was obviously a turning point or a momentum switch in the game. We had them at the 2-yard line and kind of let them off the hook a little bit. But again, those are opportunities there where we need to be better. We need to play better, coach better in those situations to try to get off the field at some point. But credit them. They executed well and ended up with a touchdown.
What did you see on the play when Mahomes got hurt, and how would it have changed your strategy had he not been able to come back?
I didn't see, other than him being tackled from behind, I didn't really see the whole play. I'm sure he got something rolled. One of the players probably rolled up on the back of his legs, on that. But listen, hats off to him for gutting it out there in the second half and sticking with it and playing hurt. That's just a sign of a true leader and a winner, and that's what he is.
How many of those plays do you just chalk up to Mahomes? It felt like there was a lot of pressure, but you just able to make something happen.
That's what he does, right? He eludes the pressure. He can step up, and he's got great vision down the field, and he finds those guys, and we talk about it all the time. You get opportunities to sack him or tackle him, you got to try to do the best you can to get him on the ground, and it's obviously easier said than done.
Kelsey's a great player, but what's the disappointment level with him having 14 catches, and what did you see in terms of trying to cover him today?
Yeah, and a lot of them were short, intermediate type catches. Some of them were off of scrambles. That's going to happen, but he's a great player. He's a big target for Pat and for Patrick, and really, you obviously got to know where he's at, right? When he lines up in the formation, and we got to do a better job moving forward. Those are all things we can learn from.
Other than the 98-yard drive, which is
they gave us some opportunities. There were some unwarranted penalties in there too, right? That kept them on the field that we got to eliminate. You know, there was a roughing the passer, and I think we jumped off sides one time, and there's just things that showed up that we've got to try to eliminate. But I thought overall the defense did a nice job of really kind of keeping things down. Second half especially, forcing them to punt the football and get the offense back on the field. And football games are all about, playing complementary football, and we can learn from it and do a little bit better.
As a follow-up, you guys didn't get any takeaways today. Your best chance might have been the Lewickin missing interceptions. Do you feel like that was something that you guys needed to get one or two of those?
Yeah, I mean, no. Yeah, I mean, listen, you try the best you can to try to create some turnovers or some takeaways. There were a couple chances, in this game, to get some hands on these footballs, and it would have been nice to have gotten at least one of those.
I know you've praised Trevor quite a bit, but when you talk about the confidence and expectations for the future, how much is rooted in having him in place?
I think it's everything. I've said this before, that the success of your football team lies with your quarterback, and you got to get that piece and that player right. And I feel personally that in Jacksonville we got that person right, and he's just going to get better. He's going to get better. He's going to learn from this. He's going to grow with the receivers, tight ends, the backs, because they're all young. They're all potentially they're all going to be there and keep working. So we're just going to continue to get better and grow as a team.
There you have it, Doug Peterson, who I think he's right that they found the right guy there at the quarterback position in Jacksonville, and he wouldn't say this, I imagine, but I will. I think they found the right guy, one step above the quarterback. Him. The Jags have a bright future, but the Chiefs have an absolute sun of the present. Like the body that we all revolve around, S-U-N. That's how bright it's been here in Kansas City, even as it teetered on the brink of disaster today. The Chiefs win 27-20. They're punching their ticket to their 5th consecutive AFC Championship game. You got Patrick Mahomes looking like a fire-breathing dragon. His ankle, what's happening? Chad Henne comes in and gives you a 98-yard touchdown drive. Mahomes returns in the second half, plays well enough to give that offense a little bit of a spark. They score just enough because the defense steps up. You see these young defensive backs. You saw the pass rush affect Trevor Lawrence even when they weren't bringing him down. Even special teams, which, yes, had some major issues in the kick return game. No issues to speak of as the ball left Harrison Butker's foot, and he used his head when he needed to, like tackling on special teams as well. A real team victory for the Chiefs as they are victorious, again, 27-20, 5 in a row to the championship game. If the Bengals win tomorrow, that'll be back at Arrowhead. If the Bills win, it will be in Atlanta. Regardless, we'll be right here in Sports Radio 810 WHB Studios. Till next time, bye, Mom.
Possibilities is here to open up doors for individuals with developmental disabilities. Katie's been coming here for a couple of years, and her last job experience left her with some anxiety and really just lacked self-confidence to go out to the job market. Because Subaru of Olathe funded 1,200 working hours for our students at local events, Katie gained her self-confidence and now has the new job that she loves.
Seeing the impact this partnership has made on students like Katie is amazing. It's been wonderful teaming up with Possibilities, and we look forward to the continued partnership.
Hey, Kansas City, Stephen St. John here. You've heard me talk about Polymagic and their awesome floor coatings, but did you know they also do concrete lifting, leveling, void fills, and crack repairs? These include the areas around your home that can cause trip hazards, driveways, garages, patios, porches, sidewalks, and a pool area. Don't let the issues worsen. Have my friends at Polymagic come out for a free estimate and ask for the SSJ special, up to $500 off your project. 816-765-4800 or visit them at polymagic.net.
Receding hairlines, bald spots, thinning hair, many try medications, foams, special shampoos, or supplements. But the best method for restoring your hair is simple: transferring your own hair follicles to the places you need them. I'm Dr. Jeff Markey with Ascentus Plastic Surgery.